nickname is Gummy. He's a bit of a on-baller, I think, and since I was here, he's progressed really well. So hopefully he gets a good game today. And I know a couple of senior boys like Daniel Hargraves and Tubby around the club as well. So it's just going to catch up with them boys and hope they have a good win today.
Jared, there have been questions about Neil Danaher. That first game of the year was a shocker, beaten by Hawthorn by 49 points. But then there's been some steady football. What about the coach? What's he like?
Yeah, he's good. He's good. You know, he's straightforward, and this year he's pretty much put himself out there and the club out there, trying to get membership drive and trying to help the club financial-wise as well and on the field. So, if, you know, we're doing well on the field. Off the field, it helps us as well. So.
And Jared, the Demons probably aren't the highest profile club outside of Melbourne, but we look through your side and there's probably half a dozen kids from South Australia that are playing with you, so must have helped you settle it a little bit easier knowing that a number of fellow South Australians have made the journey across and done pretty well. Yeah, it's been great. There's like you said, half a dozen or so, and pretty close with all them boys, and yeah, hopefully we can get a couple more over there in the next couple of years. And Aaron Davey, Aaron played with, when I coached the Magpies, played a few games with the Maggies. They tell me that you can't buy a badge, a scarf or anything with a number 36 on the back. That's right. I think the merchandise shop is all sold out of all his gear, so it's pretty exciting for the club at the moment.
And Jared, the Tasmanian connection.
No, I know it was on your lap there before, but there was some controversy yesterday when one went walkabout, which they had to retrieve.
A little girl here with her apple on the ABC television scaffold, and they're playing Aberwalshie. We might go back to the Musos Club in Broken Hill.
Well, we might do that, but before we do that, we'd better call this game. And I can tell you with authority that Ben Moore has won the toss for Glenelg, and they will kick to the northern end of the game. And I can also tell you with authority, Roger, that I've worked for ABC Radio Sport in Adelaide since 1999. And I've never seen Glenelg play a game of football, and I've never seen North Adelaide play a game of football. So I thought I'd just throw that stat in for you.
But you would imagine they'll be throwing the ball up for most of the day.
Well, it was interesting last night. The best part of the Adelaide Oval was the centre pitch area, which is covered. And Les Burdett doing a lot of work down there with his team today for tomorrow's game. But next Saturday night is the Rugby International between the Wallabies and the Pacific Islanders. Tonight in Brisbane, Australia plays England, the first clash of those two sides since the World Cup final. And tonight at 5 o'clock, Walshy, we go to the Olympic Stadium for the AFL coverage, the completion of round 13, Sydney Collingwood. Who have you gone for again?
Well, I went for Collingwood. I put my tip in early in the week. Sydney have got some very good inclusions in their team. Collingwood have got Rocker back who'll make a difference, but Collingwood's season rests on tonight. They were close against Melbourne for a half. They played well, but I reckon they can get across the line tonight.
I think you've gone for the Magpies, haven't you, Steve?
No, I've gone for the Swans, Roger. I think up in Sydney. I think up in Sydney that it's important for Collingwood, but it's equally as important for Sydney. And I just think with those few players back in their side, they might just have enough goal-scoring capabilities to win the game.
And the Rooster Crows, the ball's held aloft, and we've got Darryl Wintle, the captain here, and Sujai Cook, he played for Nord, and also the Adelaide Crows. Ball up from the umpire. They're underway in the match at Prospect. They crash into one another. Ball fisted forward by Glenelg. They're going to the northern end of the ground. The ball is on the ground. They're pushing and shoving. Crashing in hard for Glenelg is the Hardwick, his first touch. The ball goes forward, not for long, and it's cleared away by North Adelaide out towards our side. A long lead coming from Ben Hudson. He plays for the Crows. Ball moved towards the wing and might go out on the full. It doesn't. Bounces over. And the player there, Walton, spent time at Centrals, and also the player in the headgear is Ivans, Luke Ivans, the Deputy Vice-Captain. Sunshine in good conditions. Prospect, North Adelaide against Glenelg. Peter Walsh.
No score yet. Early stages of this game. Local footy. Crowd standing and watching throw in. It clears the pack. Hudson tried to grab hold of it. Couldn't do so. Wintle there for North Adelaide. Hand pass out of the pack was effective there from Culpet. Kick forward in towards the half-forward line. And a splendid grab in defence is taken down there by... Is that Rowe?
It is Rowe.
It is Jason Rowe in defence for North Adelaide, who marks splendidly with these conditions as they are. Toe pokes to Sutherland, who's by himself at half-back for North Adelaide. And he takes the mark. No one watching the mark. And he elects to run on. Loose checking by Glenelg. The kick around towards centre wing. The target around there was Mooney, who couldn't get near the contest because leaping over the top and taking the mark was Jeffries. He goes with the short distance kick for North Adelaide across towards the half-forward line. Spills through the fingertips there of Golding for Glenelg. He goes back in after the hard ball. Also Ebert there for North Adelaide. They lock it up. Hardwick there for Glenelg, and there'll be a bounce. 2 minutes gone first quarter. No score here at Prospect.
Stephen, is that Adam Huskers at centre-half forward?
That's him. Adams run down, and he's wearing a beautiful pair of white gloves today as well, which certainly stand out.
Pressure on Glenelg. The ball's shoveled forward. Jeffries working hard. It spills to Huskers, right half forward. Hammered back by Neely. Ball spills towards North Adelaide. Comes back towards Hudson, down in front of us on the wing. He goes back to Sutherland, who's a lot of trouble with knees. Former player was stirred. Hand pass to Ivans, good under pressure over towards Walton. Walton runs to 65 metres out, lobs the ball up towards the goal squares. Hargraves will be up there. Was he held? Play on, says the umpire. North working hard. Gums there. Ball's on the ground. Smothering coming from Glenelg. They want to hold the ball up. The player trying to get it out is a North Adelaide player. The ball comes out and the player's ripped onto the ground. Good strong tackle by Vlatko. It's 30 metres out from the North Adelaide goal. And it'll be on the ground a lot, Stephen.
It will in these conditions, but North has certainly got some good marking options up there. Daniel Hargraves, who didn't play last week, looking pretty dangerous already.
Ball thrown in the air. Let's do it all again will be the call from the umpire. Or will he let it go? There's a lot of pushing and shoving about 35 metres out from the goal that North Adelaide is kicking to at the city end, and there'll be a fresh throw in the air. Now Motlop is just shepherded away from the contest. It's grabbed in defence there by Neely. Twists one way or the other. Now, there's no advantage paid. Glenelg burst clear of the pack, but off the ball there is a free kick, and Neely is the person who will get it. He was taken high, and he elects by way of hand. Gets it across there to Backwell in defence. Backwell for Glenelg. Runs his fair distance, goes for the short pass wide towards the half-back line. Neat gather out there by Manfield. Goes the hand pass, kick wide towards the centre wing. And Glenelg with numbers. And look at Backwell steam down the ground and call for the hand pass. But it'll be delivered across towards centre-half forward. In front there, almost a mark taken by Duldig, is it? He couldn't quite drag it down. And there'll be a bounce at centre wing outer side. No score yet, early stages of this game. We've gone 3.5 minutes. Don't forget, at 5 o'clock tonight, we go to Sydney for the Collingwood-Sydney game. This is ABC Radio Sport through ABC South Australia and Broken Hill. Roger Wills.
Ball up on the outer side, but the ball will go to Glenelg and taken by the player out there in Culpet working hard. And Glenelg move a ball. It's low. It's a heavy ball already. Spills towards Hudson to drop behind the play. Getting free. Glenelg have the ball. Move the ball towards Hardwick. He's at half forward, not half back. Up towards his player working hard is Paul Allison, a dangerous player. Ball's at centre half back for North Adelaide. They pounce. The defenders slow things down, and the ball quickly back towards the umpire. So still no score as Allison removes his face out of the mud. Cook goes into ruck. The ball filled towards Hardwick. Does the roving up towards the goals for Glenelg. Crashed onto the ground by the North Adelaide defenders. They come from all angles. The Vlatko's there, Cook's there, and North Adelaide tied up. And still no score, Stephen.
No, it's one of those games, isn't it, where it's very tough. The tackling's been good, and there hasn't been a lot of free space for players to show their skills.
Spence, could you just turn that light on from behind you if you don't mind, mate? It's a bit dark here already. Ball tapped wide from that bounce down to McEntee on the boundary line for Glenelg. Bounces it in towards full forward. Good work in defence there by Rowe, who has the ball, and he decides that it is probably in the best interest of the team to run it through for a behind. He does that. First score goes Glenelg's way. There, one flag to North Adelaide yet to score. We've gone 5 minutes of the first quarter. Stephen Williams.
Yeah, and Jason Rowe, just a young player, come down from the NT, a real talent, 20 years old, and has the athletic ability of perhaps a Michael O'Loughlin or Adam Good. So I think we're expecting big things from him in the next couple of seasons.
North Adelaide straight down the ground, but the roving is done by Nita. Long shot on goal. It'll be lucky to score it. It doesn't. Hits the fence, and the North Adelaide youngsters hanging over the fence pound the fence. It's one behind, and we have played 5 minutes. A lot of names like Golding and players that actually have an AFL connection too. As Rowe takes the ball, I first saw him at the parade. He was in attack, but he's playing in defence. Goes long towards the outer side, looking for the lead coming from Gum. Well taken, marked by Vlatko. Swings around, keeps her moving on the outer side. Chance for North Adelaide out there. Ball taken by Damon White. Now there's a name we know with Port Adelaide in the AFL. The ball goes forward for North Adelaide. It's taken by Jeffries. He's picked up and hammered over the line by Matthew Manfield. One of the features, and we'll have time to enjoy today, Stephen, will be the tackling.
It is. It's a real feature of the SANFL. The umpires let the ball play too. They don't play a lot of holding the ball decisions, so they certainly give the guy with the ball plenty of time to dispose of it.
Now Ian Perry wearing number 58 for North Adelaide contesting that boundary throw in. That I don't suppose you get a choice when you come back. If you've played most of your football in the AFL, you're just given a jumper that's available.
That's quite true, and it's amazing how big these AFL guys look. Damon White and Perry look so much bigger playing for North Adelaide than they do for their respective AFL clubs.
Absolutely. In attack, Daniel Hargraves leads out for the ball. Can't quite get near it as it trickles over the line before he or Glenelg's defender James Miller can gather. And there'll be a boundary throw in the left forward pocket. With all the youngsters here, gee, it's good to get back to the football and sit in the grandstand where we can get a bit of noise. We are magnificently looked after at Football Park by Sharon Stevens and the troops, but to come out here today is good value as Huskis leaps from the sidelines to try and knock that ball forward. Can't do so. Almost emerging with the ball is Ebert, who kicks it in towards full forward off the pack, and it trickles through for a behind to North Adelaide. Kick by Daniel Ebert. Scores level here at the 7-minute mark, and it's amazing with Adam Huskis. It's like with the old Pot Black, with the man with the white gloves putting the ball on the table. He looks very dashing, very elegant, attired with the white gloves. So behind each of two here, 7 minutes gone on ABC Radio's football.
I noticed the time clock was working in the reserves, Walshy, but it's 0-0 at the moment. We've gone 7 minutes, and you've got yours going, and the ball kicked forward by Glenelg to the outer side. Nearly does the tackling. Ball spills out. Chance to chip the ball forward, looking for the forwards. And Hargraves behind the pack takes the mark. Just trying to pick up the player who moved the ball forward for North Adelaide.
That would have been Gum.
Young Gum, number 34, just outside 50 and standing in the back. Well done by Hargraves. Bided his time.
Yeah, and terrific work by Shannon Motlop just to be able to get himself loose of a tackle and get a handball to Tristan Gum, who just kicked the ball to the hot spot. And a good full forward playing in front. Daniel Hargraves shouldn't have any trouble converting from probably 30 metres straight in front.
Heading towards the city end, we get a view of the tall buildings in the city from our position here in the back of the grandstand as the little girl with the apple bounces around on the podium, and he jams it through. Daniel Hargraves turns to his teammates who pounce. So the opening goal to North Adelaide there, 1-1-7. Glenelg 1 behind 1 point. And as Glenn Elliott, the general manager, made the point to Stephen Williams, interesting for North Adelaide because they've had 6 wins, but they always haven't been favourite. But they're favourite today against Glenelg and playing at home.
It's certainly a different aspect for them to deal with, obviously coming up against a lot of the sides that performed better than them in previous years. They're going to go in as underdogs, but 6-4 against a really struggling Glenelg. North are expected to win today and win well.
8 minutes gone. North Adelaide 1-1-7. Glenelg behind last night. Stirred easily accounted for Norwood. 2 further matches to complete round 13 in the SANFL. Let's say a very good afternoon to our Round the Grounds reporter, the Menangatang Mauler, Andrew Smith.
G'day, Walshy. Yes, firstly out at Elizabeth Oval, 9 minutes into the first term. It's the Bulldogs by 7. It's Central's 1-2-8. Port Adelaide 1 behind 1 point. And at Richmond, West Adelaide by 5 points. The Bloods 1 straight 6. South Adelaide 1 behind 1 point.
Thanks, Andrew. 9 minutes gone in the term in this particular match as we see Glenelg leap forward. Statham got up high, couldn't quite take the grab on half forward. It'll be kicked in there by Vlatko towards full forward. He delivered well, and Brett Backwell gets across and takes the grab almost directly in front and about 25 metres from goal. He did it well coming out of the glue pot, and the mark taken by Brett Backwell. Only a pup, only 24 years of age, but seems to have been around for a while.
Former Carlton player,
yes,
who's certainly made an impact in the SANFL since he's been here. A real danger for North Adelaide today, and someone that's going to have to be watched very clearly.
Very little support for Glenelg here, mostly North Adelaide supporters as Backwell steers it goalwards. The goal umpire has a good look, but it's all right. It's a goal. Glenelg 1-1-7, North Adelaide 1-1-7, almost 10 minutes gone in the first term.
And probably Glenelg's best player, Brett Backwell, just his ability to cover the ground. As you mentioned a little bit before, Walsh, he took the mark at half-back and was looking for the handball at half-forward. He just runs and runs and runs, and certainly will have to be looked after today.
So sun shining, good atmosphere, good crowd in front of us on the grandstand area, 1-1-7 apiece, a bit dark over the hills area. And Brett Backwell won the Fos Williams medal in the SANFL waffle game over at Fremantle Oval last year. Spent time, as mentioned, in the AFL trying to get back, but now back in the SANFL. And emerging is Neely onto his boot, tumbles the ball forward, a clean bowls a couple of North Adelaide defenders working hard as Allison spills away to the Glenelg player there, and Luke Panozzo, hand pass inboard, bit of hope in that one. Racing down the ground is Gummy, read that cleverly. Goes over towards his teammate, and the ball cleared away by White. That's Brett White towards the outer side, and it's Rowe working hard off his left boot up towards his teammate. Crash Walton, hammered onto the ground. Terrific tackle by Culpert. He picked him up and slung him onto the ground and prevented him getting the hand pass away.
Just another great tackle, but the rebound coming from the Roosters, Jason Rowe linking up very nicely, and just looks a fantastic player back there.
Vlatko in ruck. It spills away to Gums through Hudson, and Gums having a lot of it as Laddams races in, and Joyce playing for North Adelaide swings onto that left boot, keeps it moving high towards half falling. Golding goes back, knocks the ball onto the ground rather than marking, scooped up cleverly by Motlop. Hand pass going forward, the ball emerging. It's with Huskers, 60 metres out. What do? I kick a goal. I go up towards the goal square. Chance for North Adelaide. Ball onto the ground. Glenelg defenders under enormous pressure. Pressure coming from the player there in Ian Perry, so it's shoveled forward by the Glenelg. Damien Hardwick, yes, he's coming back towards it. He's a bit like Damon White. He's lining up in defence, and it's North Adelaide 1-2-8, Glenelg 1-1-7, and we played 12 minutes.
Spence Gum seems to be enjoying these sticky conditions. What's his stats?
He's had 4 stats so far, 4 possessions.
And the other fellow who's doing very well is Rowe, Jason Rowe in defence for North Adelaide. Sorry, Spence, to wake you up there.
Oh, sorry, he's had 3.
He's had 3. Spence Denny, a multi-skilled person doing the right things for ABC Radio Sport as Glenelg sweeping to attack towards half forward, and guess who? Rowe takes the mark, and I don't like the way they've got mud on their back and they're covering their numbers early in the piece, Stephen, as Rowe, with some deft foot movement, gets around the man on the mark, runs his full measure, kicks towards centre wing. Hardwick with courage over the top. Huskers couldn't take the mark. Huskers, who's been in a good paddock, but still at the contest hard, knocked away towards back wall. His steady hands go towards Cook. Cook on the left boot in towards full forward, punched away well in defence, but it's going to be grabbed there and kicked at goal by Statham. Well, he didn't go for goal. He went the short pass. I thought for a minute when he got hold of the ball he was going to fire it in, but he's gone the short pass, and it's Cook who has taken the mark, only about 15 metres out on a slight angle. But once again, Backwell at the contest as Cook comes in and shoots it for a goal for Glenelg. He's put it through, and so Glenelg take the lead here at Prospect. 13 minutes gone first term. Glenelg 2-1-13. North Adelaide are now 1-2-8. Stephen Williams.
Yeah, and just some nice roving by Craig Statham, and just real composure. Didn't snap for goal when he had a little bit of pressure on him. He just looked up, saw Sujay Cook sitting on his own just outside the 10-yard square, and popped it over to him. An easy conversions for Sujay, and North Adelaide probably playing the better footy, but the Tigers leading 2-1 to North Adelaide 1-2.
Yes, and they're back in the glue pot in the middle as the umpire tries to get clear just to ball it up. Colin Rouston pointing to a spot. Is there a centre circle there as the on-ballers get ready? The ball up from the umpire. They crash into one another. It's palmed down by Hudson. Onto the ground they go. They make mud pies. The ball goes up. Play on, says the umpire. Strong tackle on. Ivans crashing in his Hardwick. Spills back to Hudson. Tries to get the arms free. Looks around at the Glenelg play. That is Hardwick. And Hardwick was hard at it. And Ben Hudson looks, what happened there? And the ball goes to Ivans on the wing. North Adelaide go forward. They're down by 5 points at the moment. Ball is not quite taken by North Adelaide. Sweating on the loose ball is Vlatko. Well done. In goes Neely of Glenelg. Crash goes Gum, who couldn't quite take the mark before. Free kick will go to Glenelg, and they're working harder on getting the free kick, Stephen.
Yeah, they're getting on the bottom of the pack, and the umpire's doing the right thing, protecting the ball player. And Colin Rouston certainly wouldn't be used to these conditions either. He's umpired a number of AFL games this season, so it'll be a real test for him in the mud.
Nearly short pass marked by Hardwick. This would be pleasing Mark Williams, whose wife celebrates the big 4-0 tonight, so I'm not sure whether Mark would be blowing up balloons or having a look at some of the players who are running around in the SANFL, Stephen.
I think he's blowing balloons up, Walshy.
And Hardwick is going to get another stat as he takes the mark at half-back and charges through the middle. Kicks to a courageous Backwell, who did just that, backed into the pack. Good fist away in defence by Rowe for North Adelaide. Clever hand pass by Duldig, wide towards half-forward, running down the ground Neely. Neely goes for the short pass into the forward pocket. The big leap in the mark is taken down there by Paul Allison, who got up very high and dragged down what was a very nice mark in these slippery conditions.
He's been a good player since crossing from the Eagles, where he was fairly quality for them as well, but the spearhead at Glenelg nowadays, and certainly if he's given the opportunities, he's capable of kicking a bag of goals.
Yet another Tasmanian dominating over here in South Australia, Steve. We've had Tasmanians mentioned so regularly, and it was their big team of the century named last night at the West Point Casino. And the captain, of course, the captain of the St Kilda Premiership in '66, dazzling Darryl Baldock. Ellison, right forward pocket. Glenelg league 2-1-13 to North Adelaide 1-2-8. Ellison on the preferred left boot, in towards full forward. Goal umpire staggers across to his right, and it's a behind. Glenelg 2-2-14. North Adelaide 1-2-8. 15 minutes gone, and Roger, as we just have a look around this magnificent venue here, isn't it good to be back at local footy?
Very much so, and I'm just trying to see where the windsock is.
I'm just trying to see.
Got some flags straight across to see the Australian flag, and it's favouring the Tigers perhaps by a goal to win this quarter.
One of John Howard's flagpoles.
It is.
Very important as the ball goes towards half-back for North Adelaide. Chance for Perry, spills to Panozzo. The ball with Glenelg, back to Panozzo, left half forward, centres the ball, back goes Cook, can take the mark. At centre half forward he does. Pushed onto the ground, tumble turn with no puck. He wants to keep it moving. A long lead coming, but Cook goes to the left forward pocket looking for a grab. It's almost there. Ball onto the ground. Crumbs to Damon White. Glenelg seem to have the numbers. The ball goes towards the pocket. In goes Allison. Emerging is Neely. He's been busy. Runs outside 50. Over towards Hardwick. Stops. Snaps. Lobs the ball. Can Golding take a mark? He can. Good strong effort. And the ball has been dragged down by the Glenelg player. It is not Golding waiting on the player to turn around. Duldig.
He's a big boy.
He's a big boy from the southeast and been in the club a while now, but certainly starting to make his presence felt. And Damien Hardwick, I'm not sure, Spence will tell us how many touches.
He's had 6 effective possessions so far.
Yeah, he's looked very impressive.
And Glenelg have gone inside 58 compared to 4 for North Adelaide.
And they lead by 6 points. And after that miss by Allison on the outer side, they'd want to take their chances and kick their goals. As Doldig, he's way offline. It goes out towards Allison. He might take the mark. The mark has been taken by Statham, but I think it's gone out on the full. It has. So the score remains at Glenelg 2-2-14, North 1-2-8. We've played 17 minutes. In a moment, we'll go around the grounds with Andrew Smith.
I think there's been a misprint in the program because it's got Duldig as 96 kilos. He's heavier than that, surely. He's a big boy. We'll go around the grounds in a moment, but it looks as if out of trouble now. Laddams will win the ball for North Adelaide, who are down 1-2 to 2-2. Kicks to half forward. Huskus from the back of the pack. Can't quite take the mark. His recovery skills are all right. Throws his boot at the ball. Doesn't make contact. Walton's in there for North Adelaide. There's a push and a shove, and now there'll be a restart just away from where the mud is in the middle here at Prospect. 2-2 to 1-2. Glenelg lead at the 18-minute mark of the first term. Andrew Smith with the other 2 matches.
And 18 minutes in at Elizabeth Oval. Central's by 6 points. It's the Bulldogs 2-2-14. Port Adelaide 1-2-8. And at Richmond, West Adelaide out to a good start. They lead by 18 points. It's the Bloods 4-1-25. South Adelaide 1-1-7.
And back at Prospect Oval, it's Statham putting Glenelg inside 50. The swerve and the dash from Rowe. Brilliant football out towards the outer side. Ball goes onto the ground. Ball emerging. The ball taken by Perry onto his left foot. He's on the wing. Goes up towards the forward line for North Adelaide. Crash go the Glenelg defenders. Ball onto the ground. Crashing in is Huskus. Over the shoulder. Free kick goes to North Adelaide. Player got front position. That's Adam Huskus. He's not playing in defence. He's left half forward at the moment. A goal would level proceedings at 2-2 apiece as Huskus goes short. A player is loose and the mark has been taken by the player for North Adelaide. Daniel Ebert, the deputy vice captain. And he's related to the son of Craig Ebert.
Son of Jeff Ebert.
So many Eberts.
There is a lot of Eberts. Jeff played 1 senior game for the Magpies. Russell's brother, obviously, and Daniel's been a terrific player for North Adelaide, coming back from a knee reconstruction last season. And
he's kicking from about 45 metres out, directly from goal. Can he make the accuracy? It's offline. It's going to go towards the forward pocket. The long arms. I think that would have to be Golding taking the mark there, right on the line, like any good big man. And Golding gets up. In fact, I think that might be Doldig as well. He heads towards Panozzo. Panozzo has the ball at half-back, and the score remains Glenelg 2-2-14, North 1-2-8. And the ball is taken by Ovens. A loose kick. He jams the ball and he's back towards the tall timber for North Adelaide. They fly. Crash the ball emerging. Soccer towards the goals. It's wobbling away. It's a behind, not a goal. Left foot snap from Heath Uni. So it's Glenelg over North Adelaide by 5 points, and we'd played almost 20 minutes opening term at Prospect Oval.
And Luke Panozzo just butchering the ball. I'm sure that's what really disappoints David Noble when the Tigers play such good footy, but just those turnovers, it's certainly kill you when you do it in the forward 50 of the opposition.
Well, the turnover almost from the kick-in meant Perry went for the mark, didn't take the mark, but the short pass is marked out by Jeffries in the forward pocket for North Adelaide. And I must confess to, when I was looking at the stats coming into this game, as to being a bit disappointed with North Adelaide in this first quarter, and that's probably taking too much credit away from Glenelg, who've been at the contest, and they only lead by 5 points, but they have had their chances in the last 5 minutes to kick a couple of goals, and now Jeffries has the chance to give North Adelaide the lead.
Yeah, well, watching North Adelaide last week against the Magpies, they look completely different. They were a lot more alert than they are today against the Tigers.
Jeffries, about 40 out on a 45-degree angle. Starts to curl back, looks all right. See, the goal umpire did some work early, got it through for a goal. And sitting here in the North Adelaide stand, it's not hard to be enthused North Adelaide 2-3-15. Now grab the lead from Glenelg 2-2-14. 20 and a half gone. And all I hope is throughout the duration of this game is it stays nice and close, because that's what it makes it a lot easier to call.
It sure does, but that was a result of a poor kicking by the Glenelg side. The ball was turned over. Shannon Motlop, when he ever gets his hand on the ball, he certainly makes the opposition pay. And beautiful pass to Jeffries, and a nice kick for goal into probably a reasonably stiff breeze.
Benefit of playing at home, Stephen.
Yeah, I think so.
Local kicking for goal.
No doubt about that.
Ball up, so North Adelaide in front. Ball spilled with Glenelg. Ball heads out towards Ivans, receives the hand pass and goes long up towards half-forward. Huskis does the shepherding. The fist the ball onto the ground, taken away by Glenelg. It's not yet clear. Hulbert might have been pushed in the back. Culprit, yes. And the culprit was the North Adelaide player there in Jeffries. The hand pass towards Cook. Cook in defence, not up at half forward. Ball goes towards the outer side. Up goes Vlatko. Went a bit early. Ball onto the ground through Gum. Clever hand pass. Series of. Ball goes back. It's taken over there by Damon White. Cleared away by Laddams. A long ball, and Ivans is loose. And here's a chance. Looks over his shoulder. Pursued by Panozzo, but he moves the ball up towards half forward. They fly. Big pack of players. Onto the ground goes Uni, diving in courageously with the Glenelg player. That was a magnificent effort from the big man, because he went for the mark. And he got up and he takes the ball. That is Golding. Well done, who also had a knee reconstruction and played with the Crows.
Matthew Golding, yes, he's probably been a disappointing player over his career due to a few injuries and that, but he really has the ability to dominate the SANFL.
Hand pass to Moore. Hand pass on towards Panozzo. Hand pass comes towards Sherwood. Sherwood gave it across to Culprit, who kicks long down towards full forward. Good series of hand passes. Picked up there and shot in towards full forward and bounced through for a goal. Now, was that number 38 over
Jamie
there? Vlarko with the black hair running down the ground, the curly hair, number 35, and he's bounced through the Tigers' third goal. Glenelg 3-2-20, North Adelaide 2-3-15, and the Tigers get that goal back quickly and retain a 5-point lead heading towards the latter stages of the first term. 23 minutes gone.
They certainly deserve that, and I think big Matthew Golding certainly working well in defence, getting back there, cluttering up the North Adelaide forward half, and when he released that ball, the Tigers certainly ran onto it well, and a nice finish in the bays, just getting their noses in front before quarter time.
Quick comeback by Glenelg, 3-2-20, North Adelaide 2-3-15, and the ball out of the centre with North Adelaide, and it's Laddams going long up towards Huskis, over the shoulder, was it? Crowd roars. Huskis working with a free kick, not on. Play the ball, says the umpire. I'll take the ball, and they hoot and holler on the grandstand. Huskis can't believe it. And the umpire rushes in. Jeffries is there yapping away. It won't reverse the decision. Ball up left half forward for North Adelaide. Down by 5 points. Hargraves puts himself in ruck. Ball onto the ground. Working hard as Walton. High ball round his body. It's still inside 50 for North Adelaide. Huskis is camped under it. Takes the mark. He worked very hard, Huskis, after getting very annoyed by not getting the free kick. But by like a good footballer, Stephen Williams, he went in and got the ball.
I think the key to that one, it was a high ball just held up in the breeze. Adam Huskis was probably the only player in that pack that actually kept his eyes on the ball the whole time, although he was facing the opposite direction. A great mark, and probably an interesting positional change by Andrew Jarman, playing him as a forward. Normally we see him as a roaming half-back flanker, but if he can kick this one, it'll certainly, the move will certainly pay off for this quarter.
Huskis 40 metres out, left half forward, goes up towards the goals. It won't be a goal as a behind. It is, so it's Glenelg still in the lead by 4 points. And Spence Denny not only doing the stats, has to be crowd controller, Stephen. I think
he's failing badly in that.
I think they've lost the lollies under the ABC scaffold.
Yeah, the kids are starting to get a bit restless, aren't they?
They are. I think they've had one too many red ice creams.
Well, the reason the lollies have disappeared is Spence stole them and ate them. So, a low thing to do as Manfield kicks a fairly good distance wide towards the half-back line. Laddams traps the ball, goes for the hand pass. Good work there from Motlop, who kicks in towards half-forward. In defence, it's Cook there for the Glenelg team, who jumps all over Walton, who's at centre half-forward for North Adelaide, and there'll be a bounce about 45 metres out from the goal that North Adelaide's attacking. And it's really interesting with these jumpers, and I'll embellish in just a sec as the bounce down, a push and a shove. Hand pass comes out to a busy player in Ivans, gets the boot to ball in towards full forward, and it's rushed through for a behind by Daniel McEntee. North Adelaide 2-5-17, Glenelg 3-2-20, 25 minutes gone. And looking at Ian Perry, you'd say, oh, geez, put a bit of weight on. But look, the jumpers themselves, they do give you a different physical appearance of the players. I'm really finding it weird with some of these AFL players and picking them up out there. Roger.
Kick in towards the other side, knocked onto the ground by North Adelaide. Pressure on Culprit, drops the ball, then goes after the ball. Golding slides the hand pass towards Panozzo. He weaves away from Ivans. Well done. Has a bounce, and he's got plenty of pace as he crashes down the wing on the member side. Too long, said the North supporters. Ball is almost marked by Perry, spills away. Cleverly chipped forward by Duldig, going forward for Glenelg. Crashing in is Damon White. He's given a bear hug. A magnificent tackle by the player coming from behind. He pinned the arms. It was a good effort by Damon White to crash in hard, and I think that might have been nearly there. And the ball bounced by North Adelaide. Whistle goes. Free kick goes to North Adelaide, so that relieves the pressure for them. It was nearly applying the pressure. Give you the score. Glenelg 3-2-20. North Adelaide 2-5-17. A very interesting opening term.
And just another opportunity there. Young Duldig had the opportunity to hit a Tiger player loose, probably 25 metres out, but the pass missed his target, and the Roosters are able to clear the ball again.
Rowe went to Brett White, whose kick was down the ground towards Walton, who took the mark and went the hand pass. But the siren, doesn't the cock crow when the quarter finishes, Roger, or just when it starts?
No, because North Adelaide's not in front.
Oh, is that what it is?
I think.
Well, it's quarter time here at Prospect and Glenelg in ABC Radio Sports broadcast of round 13 in the SANFL. The Tigers lead 3-2-20 to North Adelaide 2-5-17. The margin at quarter time is 3 points.
To the coach of the Adelaide Football Club. He has severed connections with the club. He has stepped down.
She became trapped in a toilet in New Zealand. Oh, that would be dreadful, wouldn't it? I mean, not because you're in New Zealand.
More than a radio station, it's a way of life. 891 ABC Adelaide.
Welcome back to Prospect Oval. I was going to say Football Park. The Rooster Crows. Stats. Spence Denny.
To quarter time, North Adelaide have had 56 possessions and Glenelg 48 as the Rooster Crows in the background. Was that you, Roger? Was that your lunch? Inside 50s, Glenelg 12-9. Free kicks 5-3 in favour of Glenelg. Centre breaks 5-1 in favour of Glenelg out of the middle. Individual possession earners, Tristan Gum has had it 5 times, Luke Ivans 7, Chris Laddams 5 and Jason Rose 7, while for Glenelg, Damien Hardwick the standout with 7, Sujay Cook 5 and Brett Backwell 5.
And Damien Hardwick's at it again, pounding away at Darryl Wintle. He looks up at him, Wintle, and says, what was that? The ball towards Laddams on the wing as Hardwick closes. The ball goes forward for North Adelaide. They're heading north as Damon White looks like he's playing forward at the moment for North Adelaide. Maybe the swap with Adam Huskus. And the ball at the moment with Wintle, who chips the ball towards half forward. That was wonderful vision, keeps it moving. The ball goes inside 50 for North Adelaide, up towards Hargraves and Perry. Perry goes in, he's tackled strongly. Hargraves on hands and knees to Laddams, round his body on that left boot. It comes away with a breeze as the North Adelaide cheer squad go towards that northern end of the ground. The opening scorer behind, Glenelg leads North by 2 points. Stephen Williams.
Yeah, he's always dangerous around that forward 50, Chris Laddams, and just limping away from that contest. He's had that sore ankle for a number of weeks now, and it looks like it's giving him a little bit of trouble.
Now, Parker has taken the mark from that kick into play and kicks poorly wide towards the half-back line. And who's that out there? Is that Motlop? Motlop it is. And Motlop takes the grab and unloads with a left boot. He's kicked that a fair distance, but offline. And it's an inaccurate North Adelaide up forward. That big bomb there from Motlop, who would have been 50 out from goal, and that's through for a behind. 2-7-19 North Adelaide. Glenelg 3-2-20. But already you get the feeling that the Roosters have upped the tempo in this early stage of the second term.
There's no doubt, and that kick from Motlop certainly showed us that the wind is certainly going with the Roosters this quarter. And I think a good move by Andrew Jarman in putting Adam Huskus back to the back line and Damon White gone forward.
Motlop goes in, rips the ball away to Jeffries, chips the ball inside 50. Back go the Glenelg defenders, the fist of the ball. The ball's onto the ground, racing his backward, paddles the ball towards half-back, has a bounce, runs outside 50. He's got Hardwick escorting him. That wouldn't be too bad. Thought about hand passing to Hardwick, goes towards Statham, back towards Hardwick near the boundary line. Too much pressure. They overdid it. The ball spills back to North Adelaide. Bamford has a look, moves the ball inside 50. Mark taken by Wintle. One mistake and you're gone.
Yeah, the Bays certainly had the opportunities. Brett Backwell should have kicked the ball, put Hardwick under a lot of pressure. Ball was turned over as we see Chris Laddams looking fairly sore with that ankle, limping off the ground, and Darryl Wintle now looking to convert from 40 metres.
Darryl Wintle spent time with the Crows at centre half forward with the slight breeze. From 45 metres out from the captain, he's gone hard to miss. He has it. Over the fence it goes to the cheer squad. Red and white flag flutters. North Adelaide in front by 5 points. We've played 3 minutes in the second term, and the Roosters, as mentioned by Walshy, have cranked up Stephen Williams.
They have, and this is a real test for the Tigers now to stand fast and make sure that the Roosters don't get a break. Each time I've seen North Adelaide perform this season against the Magpies, they've come out in the third quarter and kicked 6 goals unanswered, so they are capable of putting goals together very quickly, end on end.
That was the frustration, you know, all the good work done by Backwell, who looked as if he was running along, waiting to hand pass to Hardwick, who was running beside him, and a thumping kick out of trouble, and you never know, they might be able to put some pressure on the North Adelaide defence. That didn't happen, as Neely attempts to break clear of the pack and can't do so. Now, a question without notice, because it's muddy in the middle, why do the umpires insist on going into the middle before they throw the ball up after a goal? Can't they back away a little bit and get it out into the lush green? Maybe not. There's the tap down. Moore chases hard for Glenelg. He was on the bottom of the pack, dragged off it. Good pick up and hand pass forward there by Motlop, who's starting to win many touches. The ball relayed in towards the half-forward line, belted away. In defence, it'll be taken by Sherwood for Glenelg. Over the top with a hand pass, taken by goal scorer in the first quarter, Vlatko, who kicks around towards the centre wing. Hand pass will come forward. Running done by Sherwood at half-back. He thought about the hand pass. He's going to play on. Goes the hand pass across towards centre wing. Chipped in towards the half-forward line. Didn't cover the required meterage. Hand pass again sloppy. Hacked away in defence there by Rowe for North Adelaide. Back into the centre. Collision of bodies. More in working hard for Glenelg, trying to lift them up. So is Backwell for Glenelg. He got a hand pass straight down the throat there of Jeffries for North Adelaide. He kicks the ball in towards the forward pocket. Chasing hard there is for the big... that's Damon White. Damon White on the angle. Throws the ball under the boot for North Adelaide. And he kicks the goal. A big man, a thumping kick, an accurate kick. And North Adelaide have 2 in the first 4 minutes of the second term, and they jump to 4-7-31. Glenelg haven't scored. They haven't been inside 50 in this term, and the Tigers remain at 3-2-20. Well played, big man Damon White.
Yeah, probably his first or second touch, but I think a good move by Andrew Jarman to push him up forward, and I suppose we would expect that sort of play from an AFL player who just looked like he was confident. He certainly ran onto the ball nicely, and from a tight angle, straight through the middle, which was a great goal for his confidence.
Interesting, once he got on the firm turf too on the outer side, you could see the spring in his legs. North Adelaide 4-7-31, Glenelg 3-2-20, Roosters by 11 points. The ball goes forward out of the muddy centre, spilling through hands towards Ivan. Smother comes from the player for Glenelg there in Ty Allen. Ball's at the attacking end of the square. It might have to be my balls as the umpire. They let it go a while, but North Adelaide starting to really emerge here in this term. Second quarter, we'll be going around the grounds to the other games in just a moment with Andrew Smith. The ball palmed forward, working hard, ball on the ground. Motlop overruns the ball, shoveled forward there by Allen. He's given a bear hug. Not quite in the muddy centre. My ball, says the umpire.
I think one of the real differences between the two teams so far is North Adelaide under pressure can certainly deliver the ball to their players a little bit better than the Tigers.
Just look to have a little bit more polish, as you suggested. Wrestling in the ruck, almost Ben Hudson getting the ball clear for North Adelaide not to be. Repeating the news that Laddams is off the ground, and in our selected team we had Steve Salopek for Glenelg, but I certainly haven't called him and haven't seen him out there, so you would think along the lines of him not playing. As Cook for Glenelg takes the ball and kicks off balance into the glue pot in the middle, slushed. Oh, have a look at the mud spill. There goes Allison in there. He'd be used to that, being a Tassie boy. Can't get away. And they climb up and they walk out of the glue pot there for North Adelaide. Scott Sutherland throwing the mud in different directions. Guess his mum's got a whirlpool. You can work that one out tonight. North 4-7-31, Glenelg 3-2-20 at the 7-minute mark of the second term.
Can't you smell the onions on the sausages, Steve?
You can, they smell good. And it's going to be hard for these guys. Normally at half-time you can change your jumper because there's another set, but I can't imagine there being a second set of heritage jumpers going around at half-time.
Well spotted, Stephen, yes, and I think we've got the scones and cream coming up also at half-time. The ball's with Motlop. He's really lifting this term straight down the ground with the breeze. Strong mark taken by the Glenelg player. Surely that was a mark. I think that was Moore, the captain. The ball spills forward and taken by Bamford, slides the ball towards Perry, 30 metres out, over towards Hargraves, gets the arms free, crashes through, trying to knock the ball over towards Bamford. He's knocked off the ball by the Glenelg defenders. Well done. Whistle goes, advantage played. It's with Backwell, defensive end of the square. Justice done on that case. Now the whistle's gone. Is it a real-aid free kick? It is. The ball will be going to Glenelg's Allison, attacking end of the square. Glenelg down by 11 points as Allison moves the ball towards the outer side. Taken over there by Vlatko, goes long up towards the goals. Wrestling going on. Rose there onto the ground they go. working hard for Glenelg. The ball comes out, spills over towards the player who snaps on goal, and that's Panozzo. Panozzo gets a goal for Glenelg. Well done. They worked very hard, Stephen Williams. They trail by 5 points at the 8-minute mark of the second term.
And Daniel McEntee, just very desperate, dived on the ball and got a very quick handball out, and the Bays were able to put that goal through, probably against the run of play. The North Adelaide side have had all the play, but a good goal for Glenelg just to keep them in the contest.
North Adelaide 4-7-31, Glenelg 4-2-26 around the grounds. Andrew Smith.
7 minutes into the second term, Centrals lead by 13 points. Centrals 4-4-28, Port Adelaide 2-3-15, and at Richmond, West Adelaide by 9 points. The Bloods 5-1-31, South Adelaide 3-4-22.
Oh, you can see the mud and the slush now as the bounce to start proceedings, or the toss in the air, nearly attempts to break clear. He's looking at the old mud wrestling. We were talking about the Women's National Football League Grand Final on today at Woodville. Stephen, with the old mud wrestling that's been going on during the week, and the girls have had a wonderful time.
And I would imagine the Woodville Oval would be a little bit similar to this in the centre as well, so they will be doing a bit of mud wrestling.
Now here's Moore, who's got plenty of touches. Does the blind turn, breaks the tackle, runs his fair distance, kicks towards half forward, and the mark is taken up there by Cook. Roger, they're starting to all look very similar, the ones that have got mud all over them. As Cook takes the mark for Glenelg at half forward. His short pass is poor. He wasn't actually trying to short pass. He was trying to kick it up there towards, I think that's Block, who's lying on the ground with mud all over him. Oh, there's a nasty collision. Cook goes back in working hard, pushed forward by Wintle. Now it's picked up and kicked forward for Glenelg. Ellison will leap high in the middle of the pack. Tried to bust the pack open, couldn't quite do so. Hand pass from the previous goal kicker, Panozzo, into the forward pocket. Vlatko chases for Glenelg. Picked up in defence by Motlop for North Adelaide. Clearing kick, but it's all Glenelg, and it's marked out there by Golding, who's a kick and a half out for the Tigers.
Goes inboard towards his teammate. It didn't go far enough, and it's intercepted by the player over there for North Adelaide in Ebert. So North Adelaide will counter. The ball smothered coming from Glenelg. Into the centre square it goes. Hands and knees, Ivans. A little hand pass was clever to Wintle. Was it a throw? No, it has gone to Ivans, who pushes his opponent into the mud. That is nearly, and Ivans in the black headgear will square the ball across the ground. As the Roosters come down the ground, there's one Tiger trying to get in the way. Rowe doesn't get a favourable bounce. In goes the gutsy Statham. He'll tie things up. Well, if you persist, Stephen, they got away with it. They got out of jail, didn't they?
It's just another poor skill error, wasn't it, that turned the ball over, gave Glenelg a chance, and good effort there to hold the ball on the centre wing.
And Hardwick was coming in. He changed from first to third gear quickly. There was to be a collision that didn't eventuate. Smothered off the boot of Neely. Forward go North Adelaide in towards their half-forward position. Superbly picked up by Moore, who's doing well in defence now for Glenelg. Kick a high floater. Huskus shepherded out of the contest. It's Vlatko who got near it, but it's kicked forward out of the pack in towards half-forward. Socket off the ground by Statham for Glenelg. In towards centre half-forward. Allison's there. Held to him. He got rid of it eventually to Block. He's hand passed a Backwell. The Bees combine. That's not Block up there. It's Calpert, I should say. Number 20, not number 30. Sorry about that. And the mark in defence is taken by Rowe. Rowe kicks well to Wintle. Wintle can go forward with Walton there. He goes the other option, which is Huskus. Huskus marks. He's at 50. Huskus loads up. Huskus kicks long towards full forward, but unfortunately it's away to the right and through for a behind. But a good build-up. North Adelaide 4-8-32, Glenelg 4-2-26, and that man with all the mud is Heath Calpert and not Lucas Block. They're hard to pick when they are splattered with Prospect Oval mud all over their bodies. Roger Wills.
Ball goes towards the outer side. Golding palms the ball down. Walton working hard, tries to keep the ball alive. The ball's shoveled out to Glenelg. That is Parker. He's slung as he kicks the ball towards the outer side. Loping after it is Motlop and Statham off him. You can't criticise the endeavour of the Tigers at the moment, led by Calpert, Stephen.
No, they're certainly putting a lot of pressure on the Roosters, and that's what they'll need to do for the whole game, just to make sure they can cut that skill level and handball that North Adelaide like to throw around.
North Adelaide by just 6 points. They've got the slight breeze in this second term at the Prospect Oval. Ball onto the ground. It's a chance for Glenelg again. The player is pinned. And a good strong tackle coming from Wintle, pinning the arms of the opponent. Chance to give you the score at Prospect Oval. North Adelaide 4-8-32, Glenelg 4-2-26. 5 o'clock we go to the Olympic Stadium for the AFL, Sydney Collingwood.
And the boys are in their heritage jumpers and they look quite spectacular. We had a look at the Andrew Jarman one that we had delivered up to us earlier on from Glenn Elliott. is associated with the North Adelaide club, and apparently they're going to be auctioned off, and they really are a credit. Congratulations to those involved with the presentation of the Guernseys. They are really quite spectacular and a real keepsake as the ball toe-poked out of the pack by Culpet for Glenelg and back over the boundary line for a throw-in.
I wonder who's going to wash them, Walshy, before they auction them off. There's a bit of work there, except for Scotty Bamford. He still looks nice and red and white, and a couple of the defenders.
Dry cleaning sponsor, I'd imagine.
I tell you what, from the throw-in, we see Perry up there. It's belted forward towards Backwell, who chases hard for Glenelg, and he hand passes it through for a rush behind. So North Adelaide, 4-9-33. Glenelg, 4-2-26. 13 minutes gone in the term, and I say this with pride. Spence Denny out here removing the pigeon poo from the grandstand so that we could neatly nestle into our spot. He's done a fine job, Stephen.
He has done a terrific job, and you wouldn't probably hear a Melbourne supporter doing that sort of work.
Low. Low.
There's a little girl here on the scaffold. She's got the handkerchief out and she's got the twist.
She's having a picnic.
She's having a whale of a time, and the ball on the outer side has been taken by North Adelaide. Hudson on the left boot. The boy from Werribee plays for the Crows in North Adelaide. They fly. The fist of Ivans keeps the ball alive in the forward zone. Pressure coming on Moore, the captain. Little hand pass. Pressure. Crash goes Hargraves. Ball across to the left forward pocket for North Adelaide, and the trees they're moving a bit here towards the northern end, so the breeze is fairly strong. I'm looking around the corporate box here, which used to be the stats box for the newspaper journalists. Just away to our left, the ball inside 50, Moore bobbing and weaving. And Walshy, he's the nephew of Kim Hodgman, who played a lot of AFL football and a legend with Glenelg. And the ball in the back pocket for Damien Hardwick. And Damien Hardwick tucked on near the boundary line. What will I do? I'll give you the score. North 4-9-33, Glenelg 4-2-26.
I want Stephen to tell me whether Hardwick's in Port's best team in a minute, as the ball kicked around towards the half-back line, and that's a splendid grab. The man splitting the pack wide open is the burly Matthew Golding, who defends grandly with taking that mark for Glenelg, who were down by 7 points. It's 13 scoring shots to 6, and that's the margin, 7 behinds. As Golding at half-back kicks the ball towards the centre wing position. Two Glenelg players spoil one another. It's Hardwick in there, number 23, doing the battling, and umpire Colin Rouston comes in and will toss it in the air. Is Damien Hardwick in the best 22 at Port Adelaide?
I think I would have him as part of the 22, Walshy, just for his hardness. I think that if Port probably lacked anything over the last few seasons, it's been in that area, and he's one of those players, along with Josh Carr, Michael Wilson, that certainly need to be playing.
Now, Ivans kicks North Adelaide in towards half-forward, and the reason the crowd roars is because there's a free kick paid to Jeffries, who was scragged when he didn't have the ball. Jeffries will kick long. Hargraves will be the target. Knocked away towards Backwell, who will concede it behind, or will he? No, he won't. He picks it up and dangerously kicks, cut off by White. That's Brett on the left boot. White snaps a goal. He's close to scoring a goal. The crowd like it. The players like it. It's a goal. Snapped by Brett White for North Adelaide. He's first. 5-9-39 North Adelaide. Glenelg 4-2-26, and I thought I was back in the old VFL days, because running onto the ground was an R. Andrews. Not Ronnie. This was Rowan for Glenelg, number 41, but that brought back some memories. Goal to North Adelaide. They've been untidy up forward, but they've kicked their third for the term, and they break open a lead now. 5-9-39, Glenelg 4-2-26. The other two games, Andrew Smith.
Thanks, Walshy. Yes, firstly at Elizabeth Oval, game's tightened up, just 1 point margin in favour of Centrals. It's Centrals 4-4-28, Port Adelaide 4-3-27. At Richmond, South Adelaide in front. They lead by 4 points. It's the Panthers 6-5-41, West Adelaide 6-1-37.
And back at the Prospect Oval, it's Hardwick chipping the ball towards Culpel, and Culpel involved in a pushing and shoving with Perry in front of us a while ago. I was looking around the pole, and they had great discipline, the players, didn't they, Stephen? They knew they couldn't really punch one another, but they had the Guernseys going.
Just a few jumper punches, isn't it? Just the old stretch the jumper with the fist connected, and you can just whack it against their chin.
No fines for the melee, and the ball is with Glenelg at centre half forward. They're down by 13 points, and the kick coming in from that's not Damien Hardwick, that's Craig Statham. And has the mark been taken? Do they play on? The ball on the outer side.
Paid the mark, I think, Rog, so they have to go back and shoot for goal.
Duldig. There's a famous name for cricket in South Australia, in Glenelg way, and Duldig right on the line in the forward pocket. Glenelg in attack to the city end as the young kid bounces the yellow football on the scaffold. We watch Duldig with the side levers. Moves in. Angles very acute. Has he kicked a goal? He has. Well done. Good effort by Glenelg. They needed that one back. They trail by 7 points, Stephen Williams. They're still in touch. 18 minutes gone in the second term at Prospect Oval.
And I think from a Glenelg point of view, they'd be very pleased that they're just hanging on to the Roosters, probably not playing as efficient a football, but you know, the Roosters haven't been able to put a lot of space on the scoreboard between the two teams, and if the Bays can just hang around between that, you know, one goal behind sort of area, I'm sure that'll give them a lot of confidence as they move into the second half to win the game.
How's the man with the side levers going in terms of stats, Spence? Duldig up forward, hasn't had a lot of the ball, has he?
He's had, that's his first kick this quarter. He's had 6 in total.
Spence Denny working beautifully as the stats man here at the Prospect Oval as Culper tries to break out of the middle, but there'll be a fresh start. Big game tomorrow too at the Adelaide Oval, with the fitness of Rod Jamieson definitely in question. His deterioration in the last 12 months has been quite appalling, and he'll go into this game totally underdone, but we'll be there tomorrow to watch him in action.
All those pies in the ABC commentary box that Rod Jamieson eats.
Cook to Hardwick. Clever work towards the half-forward line. A mark out there taken by Ponozzo. That was good work out of the middle. Cook's got a few stats. Number 44 too. He's on the run. And I like the work of Ponozzo up forward, who kicked 1 goal in this quarter. And Glenelg, if you look away, all of a sudden you think, you know, they're a few goals behind, but they're not. 7 points behind North Adelaide, having plenty of the play at the 19-minute mark of this term. Ponozzo at 40. Makes good contact. Has it got the carry to full forward? Andrews gets up. I think it might be through. Ellison's very happy. It is. 2 in a row to Glenelg. And they get back to make the margin just to 1 point. A big, hefty hoof. And that goal there is Ponozzo's second. Change there as Hardwick is coming off, and he'll be replaced by Vlatko. He's off for a spell. 5-9-39 to 6-2-38. A point the difference. North Adelaide inaccurate and paying for their sins.
They are. The Tigers have been great. Damien Hardwick coming off the ground. I'm not sure about that move, to tell you the truth, whether they're under instructions that they need to rest him, but it's close to half-time. The Bays are certainly back in the game now, and I don't understand why SANFL coaches do take their best players off, because it's not like an AFL game where the pace of the game is going to wear a player out.
North Adelaide 5-9-39, Glenelg 6-2-38. Andrews, the ruckman, doing some roving as well. Pressure on Wintle, ball spills onto the ground, and it is Ivans under enormous pressure, slipping and sliding Vlatko and also Cook. And isn't Culpert playing a blinder at the moment, Stephen Williams?
He's a good player, Heath Colbert. The Bays have got 3 or 4 real quality players, and if they can get their hands on the ball, they certainly bring their teammates into the game, and they're a side to be reckoned with.
The young ruckman wrestling. It's Wakeland will look to be kicking in danger there. You heard the ooh. I think that might have been Stephen. Young North Adelaide player charging in was Daniel Ebert, and the boot missed. My ball, says the umpire, in the muddy centre of Prospect Oval. North Adelaide 5-9-39, Glenelg 6-2-38. Grandstand football on 891 and ABC South Australia and Broken Hill.
20.5 minutes gone in this term, and there's a free kick for a holding call. Wintle up at half forward, and I have to tell you that I just wonder at half-time what's going to happen with these jumpers. They haven't got a fresh set, and they're caked in mud. Kicked towards the half-forward line. Late in leading was Hargraves. Taken by Backwell, who backed into a head-high tackle, but got rid of it by way of hand. And the Glenelg boys clear it nicely towards half-back, where Andrews takes the mark. Went to play onto Ponozzo. Hand pass to Moore. Moore goes inside. Good work by the Tigers. The ball driven back to Ponozzo. Now that's neatly done by Sherwood. The kick down the ground. Not quite a pinpoint pass. Bounces to Woods, who's on. He's got the ball for Glenelg. Threw it away. Good work in defence there by Rowe for North Adelaide. His clearance bounces back to midfield. Taken there in the hand pass forward by that player in number 13, Jeffries. Jeffries wide towards the half-forward line. Here's a chance out there for North Adelaide. The hand pass to Wintle. Wintle at 50. Has a chance to steady. Doesn't want to kick the ball. Wants to go for the hand pass back into the pocket. A kick towards full forward by, is it Bamford out there? Thank you, Roger, but it's offline. And they move the ball down the field quickly. Both teams now showing deft work considering the gluey conditions, but the kick was poor from Bamford, and it's out of bounds. North Adelaide 5-9-39, Glenelg 6-2-38.
And if any North Adelaide supporters are wondering what jumper to buy, I'd go for Scott Bamford, because he hasn't got one bit of mud on him yet.
Mark knock taken by Andrews. Good tackle by Spoil by Perry over towards Gummy. Had a chance. Angle acute. Offline, but there's a fight on. Now we'll have the binoculars up on this one. I reckon Perry's at the bottom of the pack. The umpire's trying to extricate them. They're blowing the whistles. There's 2 umpires.
Someone's going to get a free kick here too.
Oh, I tell you what, I was just a little bit concerned for a minute about John Hopawate from where we were sitting.
Something disappeared while she did it.
Well, it was a bit of movement, I'll give you the tip. Roger, you've got the
glasses. Young Andrews up with Perry, and Perry's got blood all over his forehead and down his ear. So both the youngster and the veteran will have to come off. Perry looks across at...
Well, the book's out. The book's out, Roger.
Maybe it is Ronnie Andrews.
Andrews has been reported, and Ian Perry has got blood streaming down his ear and his side, and a very nasty incident here as Colin Ralston comes across. Now, he's explaining, is he just having to get Perry, is he reported as well? Well, that'll come out in the ether later on, and Ralston goes back. Now, who will get the free kick? And it's a ball up, so it's 50-50. It's half forward for North Adelaide. They lead by a point. Ralston goes in. Let's go around the grounds as Andrews gets his number taken again by Ralston. Andrew Smith.
Pretty close games, Rog. Firstly at Elizabeth, just 6 points the margin in favour of the Magpies. It's Port Adelaide 6-4-40, Central's 5-4-34, and at Richmond 1 point the margin in favour of the Bloods. It's West Adelaide 7-1-43, South Adelaide 6-6-42.
Well, I'm a bit confused by all this. We'll call it, and then when we get a chance, we'll stop. Now, Ralston's blown the whistle because, as we see a player rush out of the pack there, Culpet away with the ball for Glenelg. It's been called back. Now, get the play moving, umpires, and there will be a free kick to Glenelg. The question I ask is, if a player has been reported, he's done something wrong.
Unless they've both been reported.
Well, unless Ian Perry has. If that's the case, I think you're spot on, Stephen, because if that was the case, there'd have to have been a free kick.
Wasn't it a point scored, though?
There was a ball taken forward for North Adelaide.
They kicked the point.
Absolutely.
So why wasn't it just a kick out?
Well, I'll tell you what. Look, good question. Good question.
Did the point count, Spence?
No. Now there's...
I don't know.
There's a free kick to Glenelg, plus there is a penalty, and Andrews, who had his number taken a few moments ago, decides to go the hand pass to Culpet. Culpet kicks to Cook. The ball didn't travel the required meterage. He thinks it's a mark. It's not. So he hand passes back to Culpet, who gives it back to Cook. A point to difference. The game hotting up to half forward, and it's a mark up there taken by Ellison. Or is it Hardwick up to Ellison? It is Ellison in front of the pack. He's taken the grab. But I think maybe too far out to score at the 25-minute mark of what has been a fairly testy last 5 minutes of this quarter, if you don't mind.
I don't think the point counted because the goal umpire came streaming out to ask for directions from the central umpire, and I think he just sent him back. So there was no point actually signalled. So I don't think the point counted.
That explains the ball up.
Well, I'll tell you what, there were some quite hot tempers in that exchange with Perry's number taken and Andrews' number taken, and we would presume both for clocking one another because the ball was tossed in the air. And Ellison now to give Glenelg the lead, directly in front. He kicks well with the left boot to full forward, won't quite make the distance. Offhands, snap it, goal is through there from Woods, is it? We'll wait for it, it's a goal. Woods threw his boot to ball, and he's kicked Glenelg into the lead in this game at the 25.5-minute mark. 4 straight goals, and look at the spirit of those Tigers players. They're all around number 17. They are very pumped. Glenelg get a goal, and they're 7-2-44. North Adelaide 5-9-39 at the 26-minute mark of the term.
And Brett White lost the plot there because when the goal was on, he was boxing on with Vlatko. So Stephen Williams, North Adelaide under a bit of pressure. Glenelg have got the endeavour, and they've got the goal, and they lead by 5 points, 7-2-44 to 5-9-39.
I think the key to a game that's starting to get a little bit fiery is just to focus on the ball. Keep your eye on the ball, and the umpires certainly are in panic mode, and they will play the player with the ball every time.
And the ball's with Ivans outside 50 for North Adelaide. They're down by 5 points. Which way will the ball bounce? Out steams the player for McEntee. Is it? Goes the ball towards the outer side. Crunch. The mark's taken by Andrews, the 19-year-old, who's been under plenty of physical pressure since that wrestle, or should I say fight with Perry's. Cook, a little hand pass was clever. Panozzo slides the ball down the outer side. Coming in board. The ball is with Neely. Touched off the boot. Play on. Ball taken by Hudson, who steamed off onto the ground when Perry came on. Jeffries has the ball. Whirls around. Picks out a player. Damon White crashed into the mud. Ball onto the ground. In goes the ball emerging with Glenelg, and steaming through the centre is Moore. Over the top, Glenelg have got the numbers. Statham over towards Culpet. Back towards Neely. Neely slides the ball over towards his teammate and Woods. Woods the last goal. Series of hand passes with Neely off his boot up towards the forward pocket. Glenelg. Ball bounces back in ball. Glenelg want that. Weaving around the kids with the scarf on. Sit down, please, ladies. And we'll throw the ball in right forward pocket. Glenelg in front, 7-2-44, North 5-9-39. We've got everything, Walshy.
Oh, yes. And I'll tell you what, Matthew Lipinski'd love it out here. There's that many poles out here. You have to look around to see the ball from the throw-in. It's hand passed out of the pack, and the North Adelaide team clear around towards the half-back line. It bounces. Vlatko's there. Vlatko can't keep it in, and it spills over the boundary line for a throw-in very close to half-time. And the crowd, as per normal, giving the umpires a fair serve of North Adelaide spray. The North Adelaide supporters really involved, as we see. That was Bamfield for North Adelaide, who got a kick earlier on too. Mark that one down on the stat sheet, Spence. I just picked him up now. The Roosters into attack to half forward. The hand pass comes towards Ivans. Ivans gets rid of it towards Motlop. Motlop goes over the top. Here's a chance. Running player down the ground is...
Uni.
He's kicked it along towards full forward. Hargrave makes the mark. Uni, number 30, running down the ground. Hargraves plays on. Left boot, the ball is through. He's kicked the goal right on half-time. Hargraves second. And North Adelaide 6-9-45. Lead Glenelg 7-2-44. Gee, this is a good game. I'm enjoying this immensely. If only we could see. 28.5 minutes gone. It's not half-time yet, Stephen Williamson. I'm looking at you, and you're leaning forward. Did you bring your glasses?
No, the Roosters certainly needed that one. The Bays certainly had got the momentum in their favour after those couple of little fights, but the Roosters settling down, and a nice goal to Hargraves, who looks to have injured a bit of a groin after that kick as well.
Hargraves back into the side too after injury. 5-9-39. This is good. We wait on the scoreboard attendance. 6-9-45 North Adelaide, Glenelg 7-2-44. We've played 29 minutes. Maybe we'll get the time clock going after the break. It worked in the reserves. The ball's in the centre square. Crashing in is Hudson. Rucking and roving. He's jammed in the turf by a couple of Glenelg players. Now Hudson looks over the top and sees who tackled me into the ground. It's young Sujai Cook. Hudson's trying to get up off the ground. I reckon that might be culprit at the bottom of the pack. They help one another up, and the ball up from the umpire. So North by a point. Close to half-time at the Prospect Oval. Roving by Jeffries. North tumble the ball forward. Plenty of pressure on Glenelg. The ball swept towards the wing. That's a bit of a hospital pass. Flicked in board. Originally, it came from Ty Allen as North go forward, and as Specky is taken over the back by Manfield. He hand passed, he played on. Parker's under pressure. Holding the ball, says the crowd in the North Adelaide grandstand. And all grandstands packed here. My ball, says the umpire. Siren goes. Now keep an eye on the players. Hopefully things will be okay. We won't call it the cauldron yet, but it's been most entertaining. And there goes the Rooster. They lead by a point. 6-9-45. 7-2-44. Someone might lay an egg.
I wonder how Shay Cockatoo Collins, how did he react when that went off when he was playing out here? Did he think it was one of his relatives on the phone or what?
Half-time when the players from the respective sides punch. And here come the lads from the mini-league. Spence and Martins from West by 6 points. North playing Glenelg by 1 point. Now, Stephen, have we spotted anything? There's 3 interchange for Glenelg. I noticed only 2 for the Roosters. And what have you spotted?
Carl Morris. I haven't seen him before. Number 11 for Glenelg.
Son of Jeff Morris, the former West Adelaide and All-Australian player. Fantastic player, and also on the Port Adelaide Football Club coaching staff.
Well, he's just jogged on now. I think it's the first time he's been on the ground. Now, Hardwick's back on, as you would presume, and he's lining up on Tristan Gum. And we're about to start the term. We can tell you that in the mini-league, the game has gone 12 minutes and 17 seconds into the first half, and the clock hasn't stopped, so we'll have to go with our clock here in front of us. Roger Wills with back ball going to Hardwick, and the Glenelg team away in the third term.
The merry-go-round for Hardwick, but it's cleared away by Glenelg. Back towards Backwell, juggles the ball on the wing down in front of us. Good work coming from McEntee. The ball is with Neely, slides back towards the wing, gives himself time and lobs the ball towards centre-half forward. North seem to have the numbers. They do. Mark was taken by Hudson. Did he hold it long enough? Anticipation of the umpire. So Ben Hudson has the ball at centre-half back. Come on, North, says someone down in front of us. The grandstands are packed as North Adelaide lead by a point, and that's an awkward kick, but Backball battling with Gum. The crumbs should be taken by Sujai Cook. Little hand pass towards Neely, tumbling forward for Glenelg. They go to inside 50, onto the ground, crash. Strong tackle comes from the Glenelg player behind his opponent, and is that Paul Sherwood over there? Paul Sherwood has been moved up forward by Glenelg.
Ball tossed in the air, push and a shove. Hudson clears for North Adelaide, back towards the centre of the ground. Hand pass comes forward, running through Ebert, got rid of it quickly. Across the ground, Sutherland. Sutherland delivers wide to half forward. Bamford on the run for North Adelaide, goes the short pass down the ground. The kick in towards half forward is good. And the mark up there is taken by Damon White.
Plays that wing very well, Scott Bamford. Keeping out of that mud. He still hasn't got any mud on him. If I was a Glenelg player, I think I'd just go out of my way to grab him and roll him in the middle.
If you're at the ground and you've got our radio on, the 891, you'll notice now that the time has disappeared from the scoreboard. Well, we've gone 1.5 minutes in the third term, and Damon White the chance to give North Adelaide a lead of 7 points with an accurate kick. He will kick from 45. The distance will sit to trouble him a little with a heavy ball, you'd think. He's made good contact. In towards full forward, it now starts to hold up a fraction. There's a mark, a pack mark in the square, and it looks as if it might be taken down there by Brett White. Is it Brett White who climbs to his feet? It is. So white to white in the black here out at Prospect Oval, and a good grab.
Sorry, Steve. Good shepherding. I was saying Mark Jeffries sort of got in front.
It was, because from a Glenelg point of view, a very disappointing result to let a 5'10" mark the ball in the goal square like that. So David Noble would be pretty unhappy with his defenders not getting a fist to the ball.
Brett White almost directly in front, and this to give North Adelaide the lead of 7 points. Crowd wait with expectation and will cheer in a matter of seconds. It's a goal. Brett White has kicked his second goal, and just the start North Adelaide needed and that they would require to deliver, I would expect, after the tongue lashing they'd received from Andrew Jarman at half-time. Similar, you'd reckon that Mr. Noble for the Glenelg boys would be pumped and try to get them to hang in there. 7-9-51 North Adelaide, Glenelg 7-2-44. 3 minutes gone, third term. Stephen Williams for ABC Radio Football.
And as I mentioned a bit earlier, watching the Roosters last week against the Magpies, their third quarter was certainly the match-winning quarter for them. 6 goals in the first 10 minutes, and they've opened this quarter in a similar vein with a nice quick goal.
Roosters 7-9-51, Glenelg 7-2-44. Had to wait on the ball. I think it was kicked over the back into the trees. And the youngsters there from the North Adelaide cheer squad as Colin Ralston ploughs into the mud, and his boots caked in that. And he'll push the ball into the air. He does. The rucks go to it. Hudson against Golding. Ball onto the ground. It plonks itself in the mud. Ball bouncing off bodies. In goes the Glenelg tacklers. Now Hardwick wants to go on with it. He wants to slow down. The umpire comes in. Ralston is Hardwick goes in, and he wants to just pound his opponent into the mud, and Hardwick won't leave his opponent alone. And I think that's young Gum, who's got his face caked in mud. Ball palmed down by Hudson. It's roved by that player in Morris as Hardwick's sitting on his haunches. My ball, says the umpire, on the grandstand wing. North Adelaide an early goal by Brett White. They lead Glenelg by 7 points.
And to me, it's only 7 points, but it's real danger signs now. Glenelg have to stay in touch. They're down by just over that goal, but they'd want to get the next goal. You wouldn't want to see North Adelaide creep away by 2 or 3. I think psychologically that could be extremely hurtful to the Tigers. Ball tossed in the air. Go North is the call from down below us as it's picked up and kicked forward by Wintle in towards the half-forward line. Spills clear. Spurt there from Jeffries. Got rid of it by hand to Gum. Gum centering kick is off target. He's kicking to centre-half orders marked by Aidan Parker for Glenelg. Parker wide towards the half-back line. The target is McEntee. Missed the mark. Here's the chance. Here's the turnover. Uni into centre-half orders good. And it's marked by Walton, who creeps down for North Adelaide from just wide of the 50-metre line, and he takes the mark about 40 out.
And as you said a little bit earlier, Walshy, a few worrying signs for the Tigers. A couple of mistakes, and the Roosters have the opportunity now to skip away to a quite a reasonable lead.
They lead by 7. This is Walton. A report on the lollies from the young lady to our right. She's knocked off 2 bags and looking for a third.
Three bags.
3 bags full.
Dad said 3 bags.
Dad's doing a beautiful job. There's the kick in towards full forward, off the front of the pack now. A push and a shove. Almost Damon White in there to try and throw his boot at the ball. Good, clever work there by Culpert. He's been at the face of the pack all day. The hand pass comes wide now to Neely. And Neely for Glenelg towards the centre wing. That's a fair kick. Looking out there for Panozzo, who takes the mark for Glenelg. Centre wing out of side. North Adelaide 7-9-51. Glenelg 7-2-44. And repeating, the big news is a 6-goal lead to Pandana down there on Kangaroo Island at half-time, Roger.
Glenelg have the ball at half-foot on the outer side. Bear hug applied by a couple of Roosters. One is Adam Huskus, guiding the defence, lifts up his teammate, who steams back in defence. Is that Redetio? It's an interesting move. I think that's Paul Sherwood gone to full 40. He was the state fullback, Stephen Williams. An interesting move by David Noble.
An interesting move. He's one of their quality players who didn't probably have a lot of it in that first half, but he's capable of kicking a few goals up forward.
Only had 3 possessions.
Thanks, Spence Denny, as the ball is at half forward for Glenelg. Onto the ground goes Ivans and North Adelaide. Ties the ball up. Statham's there. My ball, says the umpire. Right half forward for Glenelg. They have the aid of the slight breeze in this term. North Adelaide 7-9-51. Glenelg 7-2-44. 5 o'clock, we're off to the Olympic Stadium. AFL football. Sydney Collingwood.
And in defence, the ball cleared by Ivans for North Adelaide. An update on a spectator who just fell off the fence on the outer side. He's climbed back over the fence and he's all right. As we see on the half-forward line, Sutherland take it for North Adelaide. In defence, I should say. Sloppy hand pass. Good tackle, Parker. Glenelg don't get rewarded. Perhaps they should have, because there was a little bit of untidy work in defence. And the Glenelg side, who up the tempo as Damon White runs down in towards the half-forward line for North Adelaide. And coming into the half-back line there is Tristan Gum. And umpire Colin Rouston throws the ball in the air. North Adelaide lead by 7 points at the 7-minute mark of this term. Another scramble, and there'll be another bounce or another toss in the air. Do you reckon, Stephen, the umpires, like a Rouston who does so many AFL games, have to change their direction or change their style at all when they do SANFL games?
Yeah, I think they do. I think they certainly let the game go a little bit more, and the infringements aren't probably picked on so much in the SANFL as they are in the AFL.
Mark taken by Parker at centre half back for Glenelg. Hand pass to a linking Moore, goes to the outer side. The ball sits up over there for Nathan Woods, who kicked that clever goal in the second term. Has a look, measures the ball to centre half forward, the paw kick. Kicked the ball straight to Huskers, who was grateful. Switches the ball over towards Hudson. The running coming from North Adelaide towards the member side. It's Gum, who's a very impressive young player. Jason Rose comes from fullback, calls for the ball near the line, takes the mark. He's a lovely player. Suffered a lot of knee injuries, spent time at Collingwood, and he prances back outside the line in front of the cricket club here. A wonderful centre prospect. He balks away from back. Well, what about that? Took a sidestep and then a bounce and goes long. Why not? Looking for Damon White, who's pushing and shoving. Almost ball onto the ground. Who's on the ground? The North Adelaide player. In the back, says the umpire, against Hardwick, who pounded his opponent into the ground. And up quickly is Mark Jeffries. Good supporting player. Right half forward. He centres the ball to centre half forward. Anyone at home for North Adelaide? Palm down on the ground. It's taken by Motlop. Snaps the ball on his boot. Offline. Not out on the full. Still in play. Wanted to be kept in by North. Wintle there, the captain. And throw it in right forward pocket. North Adelaide in attack, leading by 7 points.
Damien Hardwick argued with that decision. I don't know how he could possibly argue with that decision. He was right in the back of the opponent and drove him into the ground from the throw-in. Golding's there. North Adelaide pressing. Good work out of defence there as the ball from Parker is kicked wide towards half-back, but it's all North Adelaide marked there by Sutherland. Now, there is a player loose at half-forward, Scotty Bamford, who won't go near the mud. The kick across the ground is towards where Walton has it on the half-volley. No, it's a legitimate mark. Hand pass by that player goes to Ivans. Ivans spurts clear, kicks towards the half-forward line, clears the pack. Umpire gets in the way. Up at half-forward, North Adelaide with the ball. It's taken up there and push and shove. Number 3-0's in the pack there. That's Uni. Umpire says mine. And with the ball only 35 to 40 metres away from the North Adelaide goal, a North Adelaide supporter says, umpire, you're an idiot. Which could be correct, but really, you need to be a little bit more creative and imaginative before sledging. The ball knocked down there by Perry, who's got number 9, of course. Roger, I'm thinking, who's that out there with number 9 on his back? It was Perry. He knocks it to ground, and Perry, who appeared to have his number taken in that second term with also Rowan Andrews, the ball thrown in the air. North Adelaide deep in attack and leading by 7 points.
30 metres out from the North Adelaide goals. The ball spills over towards Miller, bobbing and weaving. Gets it onto his left boot. A long ball towards the outer side, but North Adelaide seem to have the numbers. But the bounce phases Statham to Vlatko. Back to Statham at a half-back. Little hand pass to Panozzo. Chance to stop under pressure from Whittle. Slides the ball towards Statham. Tackle from Staples was good. So the pressure comes from North Adelaide. Clean bowls a number of players. So Cook is swooping on his opponent. My ball as Huskers comes over the top. Umpire lets it go near the wing on the outer side. It's North Adelaide 7-9-51. Glenelg 7-2-44. We played 10 minutes third term. Roosters by 7 points. Check the other matches. Andrew Smith.
12 minutes into the third term at Elizabeth. Central's by 4 points. Central's 7-8-50. Port Adelaide 7-4-46. At Richmond, South Adelaide by 6 points. South Adelaide 10-8-68. West Adelaide 10-2-62.
Gee, Bulker raised Andrew that score last night, and fellas had withstood and Norwood, but really 3 very exciting games in the SANFL, and that is exactly what crowds love. And what a perfect weekend to give the entertainment to the SANFL fans with no AFL on. Here's Moore for Glenelg from the middle. Spiral kick down the ground. Allison throws himself forward and takes the mark. He was in front, and that's where you have to be when the ball will drop short, and Brett Allison takes the mark. Paul Allison, I should say. Brett Allison, a former Sydney Swans and Kangaroos player. And this is Paul Allison, who takes the mark within range as Moore trickles by and will prop inside 50 and will say to Allison, I provide another option. Further afield, jogging down, is Sherwood, who is now being picked up there by Ivans, but Allison fancies himself within the 50-metre semicircle as a trainer out there gives some juice to Ben Moore, the captain. Allison, left boot, Good contact. Excellent kick from Allison. Splits the middle over the baseball cap of the goal umpire. And Glenelg get their 8th goal. 8-2-50. North Adelaide 7-9-51. 1 point the difference. 11.5 minutes gone in this quarter. Here's Stephen Williams for ABC Radio Football.
Yeah, Paul Allison's been dangerous today, and his ability just to play in front of his man is a real asset to Glenelg. And we saw 2 or 3 times the ball come into the Glenelg forward 50, North Adelaide players in front, but this time Allison made the most out of a quick kick forward and a nice conversion for his first goal.
That was his first goal from my reckoning.
It was.
Yes.
Had a shot on
very
goal,
good
right,
there,
right foot pocket
Yes,
on the other side.
he got it behind in the first quarter.
Well, I think really he's been a tangible player today, Roger.
North Adelaide 7-9-51, Glenelg 8-2-50. The ball out of the centre spills towards the bunker of North Adelaide. Member side, it clean bowls Manfield. In goes Wintle, clever play, kept it alive. Ball over the top, good smother coming from backward. Glenelg, Manfield has the chance. He's tugged by the Guernsey. Over to Vlatko, hand pass to Golding. Now the counter from the Tigers. Sweeps the ball towards Culpit. He's on the wing, stops. What will I do? I'll go inboard.
Good kick.
A lovely kick, wonderful vision. Taken by Woods. Woods a little hand pass to the ever-present Cook. Glenelg building towards the outer side. Allison's the target. Well, it bounces inboard. He wants to keep it alive near the boundary line. Smothered by Staples. Spills to Bonozzo. Gets free. Right half forward over the top. Glenelg have got the numbers. The ball back towards, is it Allison inboard? Blind turn, not out of trouble. Ball still in play for Glenelg. Spills over towards Woods. Weaves clear snap. Is it a goal? It's a brilliant goal by Woods. Tigers in front by 5 points. He's second. Well done, Glenelg.
And Nathan Woods, he's got a bit of a reputation around Glenelg as a real sharpshooter, and that's twice now we've seen him with very limited time throw the ball under his boot, and like a quality small forward, he certainly knows where the goals are.
Used the ball very well too. That was what it was all about. Using the ball and creating the space, and the accuracy continues. 8-2-50 makes it 9-2-56 now to 7-9-51. 5 points the difference in this third quarter. And why don't the umpires get out of that mud when they toss the ball in the air? Surely coming back 10 metres would not give any side any advantage. They throw it up, and if it's splattered down below them, they'll have to do it all again in the mud. Not so, says Backwell, who tried to crunch through the pack, and he was beset upon it, taken high, and gets a free kick and puts his head back on. Backwell, who should be Blackwell because that's his colour, goes the short pass, and a brutish mark taken by Golding, who stood tall, stood his ground, and takes the mark at centre wing. The man Mountain thumps a high ball in towards the half-forward line. It floats over the back, attempting to take the mark was Rowe. Couldn't drag it down. It's a hard ball, a sticky ball. It's Walton in defence for North Adelaide. His clearance towards the half-back line. Kicked off the ground. Chasing hard out there is Motlop. Motlop wins the hard ball. Twist turned, put it down in a bit of bother. Pinozzo's out there. Here's the hand pass coming to Cook. Cook runs into trouble. Hit hard. High tackle. Free kick Glenelg. Cook will take it. He's busy. And Glenelg in the last 5 minutes upping the tempo. They lead 9-2-56. North Adelaide 7-9-51. Third quarter action here on ABC Local Radio. 15 minutes gone. Roger Wills.
Sujai Cook just chips the ball short. Ball taken over there by Statham. Busy player. Prancer's back. Socks down. Guernsey out right half forward. The Guernsey from 1934 is basically yellow with the black V for Glenelg and the black shorts. And Statham has the ball right half forward on the outer side. Glenelg by 5 points short. Inside 50. Mark has been taken by Neely. Chunky player. Has the ball half forward.
And they're just looking a little bit more alert, Glenelg. They're getting their head over the ball first and being rewarded with the free kicks from the umpire. And this is not beyond Billy Neely, who's handing the ball off now to Heath Culpit. Nope, the umpire's making him go back and reassess his shot at goal.
Billy Neely.
Billy Neely.
He has the ball on the outer side, caked in mud. Can he make the distance? Slight breeze, I think, favouring him. The trees just moving a little bit as we look towards the northeastern side. And Neely, from 48 metres out, right half forward, maybe a little bit closer, puts it very high. It won't make the goals they fly. Can anyone take a mark? Vlatko's there. He's working hard, pinning the arms of the North Adelaide players, bouncing off bodies. It's in the forward pocket for Glenelg, pounding in his Manfield. They want to keep it in the forward line. They want to sneak another goal. Ivans is hammered into the turf by Glenelg player Vlatko. Well done. My ball, left forward pocket, 20 metres out. Angle acute for Glenelg. They lead by 5 points.
16 minutes gone in the term. Ball tossed in the air. Flick close to the boundary line. A snap by Cook. Offline and through for behind over the shoulder. He threw the ball onto the boot, and it's through for a behind to Glenelg, who are doing all the attacking. And they are 9-3-57. Go you Roosters, the call from down below. Some anxious times for North Adelaide, who are still, of course, right in this game. But it's a 6-point ball game, 7-9 to 9-3. 6 points by way of the Tigers. And, Roger, I can just see my stopwatch at the 16.5-minute mark of this term.
That famous movie, Where Were You When the Lights Went Out, with Rock Hudson and Doris Day. The ball's with Hardwick, left half forward. Well, it's not too bad at all at the
I haven't seen that one, Rog.
Rock Hudson.
Don't go and see it. It's a shocker. The ball's with Hardwick, and Hardwick, number 23, points long. That means, no, he does go long. He goes up towards the goal square. Glenelg would love a mark, but it's Hudson there camped under the ball like a good ruckman. And he's helping out, and he moves the ball off his left boot towards the outer side, over towards Bamford, who's under pressure. Come on, Bamford. The ball spills to Ivans. Rowe takes the ball at half-back, 50-metre line. Now a chance. Thought about a hand pass. It's a bit of a hospital pass, but they've got the numbers. The ball with North Adelaide towards the outer side, pushing and shoving. Crash they go. Good strong grab by Jeffries. Wonderful effort, and North Adelaide go forward, and they're down by 6 points.
Short pass across the ground, sets up Sutherland, who marks in the middle, whips the hand pass to Ebert. Ebert kicks, kills a few scrubworms along the way, didn't travel a metre above the surface of this ground here at Prospect. Back it goes to Ebert, who wins the hard ball. Left boot to ball is smothered off the boot in towards Morris, who comes out. Taking the ground, there's a crunch tackle. Umpire says mine. At centre half forward for North Adelaide, with just a smidgen of frustration in the Roosters side at the moment. Glenelg at the 17.5-minute mark, just a goal the difference, but it's been one of those really seesawing games, and we'll get the embellishment from Stephen Williams as soon as I can work out what that word actually means. Walton tries to kick the ball out of the pack, didn't travel too far. In there is Vlatko, couldn't knock it forward. Picked up there by Moore, good hand pass Panazzo. He was taken off the ball, picked up and kicked wide in towards the forward pocket, and it will bounce away and not run over the boundary line because Parker had it for Glenelg, keeps it in play, goes backwards there to Hardwick. Hardwick across the goal front, he's defending, and Glenelg will clear. They lead at the 18-minute mark of this term by 6 points.
Morris over the top towards the hard-working back ball, a long ball towards Miller, eludes him. In goes a great full. Brett White tries to soccer the ball. Glenelg have the numbers. Well done by Morris. Keeps it moving. Intercepted by Bamford, who still looks Foreman material. Ball spills out towards Motlop. 3 players from Glenelg. They're really in good form at the moment as a team. As Moore spurts more than 15 metres. Surely. Crowd roars. Cook over the top. Was that a hand pass? Moore's given a hospital pass. Back into the muddy centre. Slipping and sliding. Hudson on hands and knees. Well done. Moves the ball towards Gum. Now the counter. Touch. Play on. The ball spills towards Glenelg on the members' wing. The ball goes up towards half forward. It's taken by Neely. It was worked hard forward by McEntee. Ball goes inboard. Taken over there by Statham. Glenelg go forward. Good. They sort of hung in there, didn't they, Stephen?
They're looking a little bit more composed. And when North get the ball now, they're rushing and look under a lot of pressure, whereas when Glenelg get the ball, they just seem to have a little bit more time and certainly finding their targets.
Statham short, kicking towards half forward, marked by Golding. The Menangatang Mauler standing by from around the ground. Stay with us for a moment because Glenelg in attack, leading by a goal. Good tight game here. Golding wobbles it across the ground in towards the centre half forward position. It wasn't all that flash, but it's going to be marked out there by Statham. He's gone the hand pass. There's Moore. He can run. He's gone the short pass into the forward pocket, and it's a one-hander in the forward pocket. Woods has got it. Dragged the mark in, and he's going to kick from a difficult angle. Already 2 goals to his credit. 1 in the second, 1 in the third. And Woods now for a very important set shot at goal for Glenelg. They lead by 6 points, 9-3, accurate. North Adelaide, 7-9. 6 points the difference. There's the shot at goal from Woods across the face. A mark! It's taken there by Golding. No, it's not. It's Duldig. He's gone short now to Golding, who marked. And he has been told to play on. And he kicks at goal. And he's missed. Well, Duldig took the mark and then went the short pass, and the umpire said it didn't travel far enough, and the shot at goal is through for a behind.
I think it wasn't that he didn't travel far enough. I think actually Golding went to play on once he marked it, so the umpires called him on. Should have been a regulation goal, but he rushed it, called to play on, and missed kicking around his body.
9-4-58 to 7-9-51. 7 points the difference. Glenelg lead at the 20.5-minute mark. Andrew Smith, the others.
23 minutes in at the third term at Elizabeth Oval. Central's by 10 points. Central's 8-9-57. Port Adelaide 7-5-47. And at Richmond, South Adelaide out to a 15-point lead. It's the Panthers 11-11-77. West Adelaide 10-2-62.
And back at Prospect Oval, Allison has been legged as North was storming out of defence. So the free kick will go to Allison on the outer side, or is it? It's not. It is Allison out there.
Yeah, Paul Allison, and he's probably kicking from 45. We saw him kick fairly strongly before, so you would think that this is within his capabilities.
And having missed that one before with Golding, surely they've got to convert. In the early game here in the first part of the season, Glenelg didn't kick straight early. North got going, and the Tigers trying to get off the bottom of the ladder. Leave Norwood there with 2 wins. Long way to go in this match as Allison on the outer side has a goal. It's right half forward. It'll be about 45 metres out onto his left boot. A long ball. It's across the face of goals. They fly over the hands of Doldig. Are behind. Not a goal. So the Tigers have had a couple of opportunities. They lead by 8 points. And we've played 22 minutes third term.
Yeah, the Tigers probably for the last 10 or so minutes have had all the play. Just missing a couple of gettable opportunities, and I think they probably need to be 2 or 3 goals up at three-quarter time to withhold North finishing with probably a 1 or 2 goal breeze at their back.
The ball into play, rebounded, Cook into full forward, Doldig. He and Golding
look similar,
sharing
don't
the
they,
forward line, but the mark is taken by the big man, and that's Matthew Doldig, who created some space, filled in the gap. The ball was kicked to the hot spot by Cook, who swung it forward. And Doldig out in front, took the mark directly in front. The man on the mark is only 20 out. Doldig hammers it home. Glenelg's biggest lead of the game. The Tigers far from safe, but that's an important goal at the 22.5-minute mark of the term as Roger Wills checks the Heritage stopwatch. 23 minutes gone in this quarter. And the score check now, Glenelg 10-5-65, North Adelaide 7-9-51, and Glenelg have kicked the last 3 goals, 3 behind, so they've had the last 6 scoring shots in this quarter.
And certainly looking the best team at the moment, and I'm sure David Noble's pleased just at the way they're hitting the top of the square. They're obviously drilled to kick the ball to that area. Their forwards are playing in front, and they've certainly scored some goals from doing it.
Glenelg 10-5-65, North Adelaide 7-9-51. The Roosters rove the ball out of the centre up towards Motlop. He's driven onto the ground quickly by opponent Allen, who's guarding the dangerous Motlop very closely. It's on the member side. You can feel it, Stephen, can't you? The home supporters getting fidgety here.
I think Glenelg are just playing a lot harder, tougher footy. North are just trying to do the fancy things, whereas Glenelg are really getting in hard and earning the ball.
Giscas knocks the ball towards Motlop. Dangerous. Misses. Should have kicked it as a goal. Yes, it's a goal. Brilliant play. North needs something. They've got it. Well done. Giscas put himself in ruck, and Motlop got away from his opponent and kicked a much-needed goal. Glenelg over North Adelaide by 8 points. Splendid football.
It was, and that's a pleasing thing to see. The North Adelaide leaders, Giscas and White, have gone in the middle of the ground, and their other AFL experienced player in Shannon Motlop able to make the most out of a limited opportunity, and North Adelaide need a little bit more of that this quarter.
Shea Cockatoo-Collins has arrived at the ground, and it's good to see Shea, who's out injured for Port Adelaide for quite a while, coming over to Prospect. We won't be able to speak to him because he has duties on the PA system. 10-5-65 Glenelg, North Adelaide 8-9-57, 8 goals to 10 at the 2 respective ends of the ground, so no wind favouring either end as we see the ball at half-back mark there in fine fashion for North Adelaide by Staples, who will kick across towards the glue pot in the middle. Squelch, splatter. The ball sits, picked up there by Gum, who was taken to ground. Kick out of the pack by Ebert in towards half forward. There's Moore in defence, has the ball. He's thrown to ground, had a bit of time to get rid of it. His teammate goes in to try and knock it forward. That teammate there is number 20. That's Culpert, who couldn't do so. And there'll be a fresh start as the players get to their feet and flick the mud off. They walk away. Ebert rushes back through the mud. Ball tossed in the air. It's a margin of 8 points by way of Glenelg at the 25-minute mark of this term.
What an important 5 minutes of the game or so, Stephen. 8 points. As North Adelaide in arrears go forward, the hard-working Jeffries in a moment to Stephen Williams as the Roosters stream down the ground. Brett White turns at half-forward. Ball needs to sit up for him. He's receiving the Shepherd. Slides the hand pass to Bamford, who's still got a little bit of mud on him. Ball goes towards the forward zone. Ball goes over the back. Taken by Perry. Bobbing and weaving. Hand pass towards his teammate in Hargraves, who slipped at the crucial moment right on the boundary line. Throw it in at right forward pocket for North Adelaide, down by 8 points.
And we're probably into time on now, and it's important for Glenelg to hold on to this lead now. They want to go in at three-quarter time with a lead to give them an opportunity to win the game in the last quarter.
Ball with the boundary umpire. Jeffries rucking and roving. In goes Neely of Glenelg. A lovely hand pass to Moore. Drops the ball. Ball, says the crowd, at centre half forward for North Adelaide. Hand pass off the ground by Moore over towards Neely. And it's cleared towards the outer side. Taken by Backwell. Here come the Tigers. Who can he kick to? It's a long way to go, Walshy.
He kicks towards Allison, who's been good in this quarter in particular. He's not first at the contest. The hand pass wide towards Giscas on the siren, who kicks towards the half-forward line. We're standing solo with Scott Bamford. It doesn't matter. The siren beats that thrust forward by North Adelaide. And with a quarter going 25 minutes and 47 seconds, it sets up what should be a thrilling
at either end of the ground. So even though there is a bit of a wind favouring the Roosters in this final term, it's not inconceivable that Glenelg can kick enough goals in this quarter to win the game.
Who will win the game, do you think, Stephen?
I still would fancy North Adelaide because I just think they've got the players up forward that could break the game apart in the likes of White, Motlop, Perry. But Glenelg certainly have given it their best and probably deserve to perhaps have a much-deserved and needed win.
And we have the official result, the announcement of the egg-laying competition. Ticket number 4937. 4937. Give Roger Wills' mobile a call during the week to pick up your dozen googies.
He gave away a car today on the program, Walsh. That's a bit of a worry. And the first ball up from the umpire, it spills towards the member side of Wakelands there in ruck for North Adelaide. And Sujay Cook comes in to do a bit of roving as Andrews pushes and shoves. He'll get the ball out, bit of tunnel ball, and Glenelg ploughing in hard. No doubt David Noble has said, get in front, Stephen. Play it hard and close, tie up the ball and prevent North Adelaide getting clear.
There's no doubt, and it's such an important game for the Roosters. With Sturt beating Norwood so easily, it would have been a huge percentage boost for the Double Blues last night, which will, if the Roosters lose today, the Double Blues will draw level and perhaps be in front, take that coveted third position. So North Adelaide can't afford to lose to bottom place Glenelg today.
Just have a feeling that David Noble would give a fair bit out of his hip pocket to that first goal of this last quarter. Good hand pass there from number 20 down the granite culprit. It's knocked across to Backwell, who soccers towards the half-forward line for Glenelg. It bounces wide of Woods, and it's over the line for a throw. And we all say, you know, the last quarter, that first goal is so important, but you just get the impression here for Glenelg, who got away to lead by a couple and a half. If they could get a goal at the start of this last quarter, their confidence would soar. Now, another from the boundary throw, and there's a high tackle on Wintle. And he'll get the free kick for North Adelaide, much to the joy and delight of a crowd that is how many here today, Rog, do you reckon?
Oh, it'll be 4,000. Be 4,000, Stephen. What do you think?
I think, yeah, 3.5.
We need the beast.
We need Eric Freeman.
We need the beast. The ball goes forward on the wing for us, up towards Perry, who runs inboard, fisted by White. That was Brett towards his teammate in uni. It steams up towards the forward zone. Out comes Hudson. The ball onto the ground, slipping and sliding. In goes the grateful Allen. Motlop slipped at the vital moment. Now Hargraves is out there. He's okay. Kicked a couple of goals. Left half forward to the northern end of the ground. Roosters with the breeze, down by 8 points. And we're into the final term here on the grandstand match of the day in the SANFL as over the shoulder. And it goes, the culprit is Culprit. And it goes to the hard-working Uni. Left half forward, number 30 on the member side. We're in the Heritage Grandstand. And the long ball from North Adelaide with the breeze. Shepparton going on goal. No, it bounced away. It took the slight leg break. 7 points, Glenelg leads North Adelaide.
And Colin Rowson, I think, umpiring a little bit to the oohs and ahs of the crowd so far in this quarter.
Just helping a lady through here. There we are, madam. If you'd just like to grab a seat there.
ABC one of the ABC.
Has she got food?
No, she just dragged our commentary box down a metre or two. She's okay. What a lovely sight to see. The lady really enjoying her football in front of our commentary spot. A very good game here. It's been tight all day. Parker in defence for Glenelg goes across the ground, picks out Neely, who takes the mark for Glenelg. We've gone 3 minutes of this final quarter. The margin is just 7 points in favour of Glenelg. The kick by Neely wide towards the half-back line. And it's marked out there by... It's not Moore out there, I don't think. It's number... It could be out... It could be...
I reckon Ben Moore.
It is Moore. Gee, he's been busy, hasn't he?
And doesn't he look like Kim Hodgman?
Doesn't he? He's very similar to his uncle.
Well, he's gone for the short pass to a player that looks nothing like his uncle. That's Damien Hardwick. And Hardwick with Glenelg really slowing it down. And this is not the sort of football that got them the lead of 7 points, but there aren't too many options, and the players' legs would be weary. Hardwick at half-back. Glenelg by 7 points. Hardwick around towards the half-forward line over the top. That was a high leap from Perry. Couldn't take the mark. He might get another chance. No, he won't, because Cook got the ball. Delivered well by Andrews. Cook for Glenelg in towards the half-forward line. They moved it well. Woods takes it over the boundary line, so it's 70 metres around in front of the main scoreboard, which is working, but the clock isn't. But we can tell you with authority, 4 minutes gone final term, and it's Glenelg 10-5-65, North Adelaide 8-10-58.
People watch the boundary thrown on the outer side. Ball spills onto the ground. It's tied up by Cook. Hasn't he worked hard, Stephen Williams? Sujay Cook.
He's been one of their best, hasn't he? Whether resting in the forward line or on the ball, he's certainly made a contest and worked very hard for the ball.
Ball up for Glenelg. Ball rove down. It's rove forward by Glenelg. They go up towards the forward zone. Bounce doesn't favour Allison. Does. Woods dragged down. Wait on the ruling ball, says the crowd. The ball goes towards the boundary line. Down the ground comes Huskers under pressure. Hands and knees. Beautiful hand pass under pressure for Wakeland, who jams the ball in his boot. It spills towards the wing. Pressure on Morris. Hand pass goes forward over towards his Hardwick. That was very clever. Balked and weaved. Had a look in a backpedaling back ball. Take the mark and a knock as well. Well played by Hardwick and Backwell.
Gee, that was courage from Backwell too, because the kick, if they had have turned it over there, North Adelaide stream forward. He goes the hand pass to Moore. Moore on the left boot, kicks down the ground. Allison in position, can't get near the contest, off hands. It's nearly there. The ball spills back to Allison. Good shepherding off the ball. Allison in towards full forward in the square. It's a loose ball. Woods is there. He's tackled fairly. Dragged to the ground 20 metres out from the Glenelg goal. And there'll be a bounce. There's that man Mountain down there in... That's the big fella Dulgig down there giving some information to those that are surrounding him as the ball in the air. Glenelg pressing for a score. Off hands, a snap at goal out of the pack from Panozzo. Misses the lot. It's out of bounds on the full, but Glenelg in attack. 5.5 gone final term. And they lead 10-5-65 to North Adelaide, 8-10-58.
And once again, a nice disciplined kick by Paul Allison there to the top of the goal square. And Steve Dulgig very close to grabbing that ball.
Tense times. Who'll pick up the opening goal in the final term? Long kick from Rowe towards the members' wing. Good strong grab by Damon White. Slides the hand pass to Ivans. Ivans to Whittle over the top towards Uni. Didn't go far enough. In go the Glenelg players. Push off by Glenelg. They have the ball towards the attacking end of the square. In goes Bamford, slipping and sliding. Ball on the ground. Who can get over the ball? Sucker forward by Bamford. Ball spills to North Adelaide. Out towards White. That's Brett White. Hands and knees. Ball spills forward. Taken by Moore. Hand pass on the ground was brilliant stuff. It comes back towards his teammate in Morris, spills back towards Jeffries, slides the ball towards White. What will I do? A tumbling ball inside 50. Glenelg have the numbers and they take the mark. Well done by Parker, well placed, and the ball goes to Backwell, and here's counter from the Tigers.
Backwell a bounce, 2 bounces, centre wing. Glenelg by 7 points, early stages, final term. His kick marked by Cook, 6.5 minutes gone. Cook, I'll get Spence to give us his stats shortly. He's been magnificent. Thumps the ball down the ground towards where Allison's at the contest late. Tapped away to the front of the pack. It'll be Statham there. He gets the ball now. Kicks in towards full forward. Oh, courage from Woods. Could he take the mark? He kicks it through. What a goal! What a goal at 3. Nathan Woods, a truckload of intestinal fortitude. Kicks Glenelg's 11th goal. 7 minutes gone final term. 11-5-71 the Tigers, leading North Adelaide 8-10-58. Too early to start celebrating. 7 minutes gone in that term. That was courage. Cook's stats, and then a comment from Stephen Williams.
Cook's had 3 times this quarter to take his total for the game for the game to 20.
And Nathan Woods hasn't he been dangerous. Very unlucky not to mark that ball, running the wrong way with it, but just has that uncanny ability to know where the goals are. He was tackled, but he has managed to put the ball under his foot, dribble it through for that important first goal of the quarter for the Tigers.
He's virtually sitting on the ground as he soccered the ball for Glenelg. 11-5-71, North Adelaide 8-10-58. Tigers by 13 points. Ball up and in go the on-ballers. It spills out. Good umpiring, trying to let it go. Umpire circling around. They both want lying on the ball. Darryl Wintle pleading with the umpire. My ball, says the umpire, as the 3 players from Glenelg, the interchange players, warm up down in front of us. Ball up from the umpire again. Ball up and down in the air it goes. North need a goal. Ball jammed onto the boot of Uni. Up towards... player there in Perry, rides the bump of Cook. Ball in ball. Anyone at home taken by Uni. Jams the ball again onto his boot. Low ball up towards the forward zone. Out comes Hudson. Takes the ball. Gets free onto his right boot. Non-preferred tumbling ball behind. Not a goal. 12 points in favour of Glenelg over North Adelaide. Stephen Williams.
And nice work by Ian Perry and Ben Hudson. And I'm sure that's what Andrew Jarman's looking for and expects, is his AFL experienced players to stand up and make a real contribution when North are looking to win this game late in the quarter.
Well, we watched a bit of Fox footy in the office this morning and we saw a draw. I'll tell you what, we might see another one today. 2 goals the difference. 9 minutes gone in the term as Perry will go to Andrew Smith in just a moment. Perry tries to knock the ball forward. It's flicked out of the pack. It's kicked quickly across the ground by Culpet. He was searching for some space, can't find it. There's a whistle. We'll get a quick round the grounds from Andrew Smith at the 8-minute mark of this term.
9 minutes into the final term at Elizabeth. Centrals by 16. Centrals 12-10-82. Port 10-6-66. And at Richmond, South by 21. South Adelaide 14-12-96. West 12-3-75.
Hardwick in defence for Glenelg, who lead by 2 goals. Had passed to Moore, who missed it, but Hardwick creates some space and North not manning up as he now kicks the ball across the goal front. He's defending. Manfield's got it, knocks it on. And the Glenelg players with numbers. The kick around to Backwell has been busy one way or the other. Loops the hand pass over the top. Fancy football, and the conditions might bring them unstuck. The ball knocked towards the boundary line and over. And perhaps just being a bit overzealous there was Paul Sherwood, who maybe would have been best to just throw the ball onto the boot. And so North Adelaide have it slightly in attack on their half-forward line, but Glenelg by 12 points at the 10-minute mark.
Ball from Wakeland down towards Uni, bobbing and weaving around. Cooks there, little hand pass towards Moore, swerves away from Perry and just roots the ball towards the other side. Anyone at home, the race is on, and the ball will stop just inside the boundary line. Gum will scoop the ball up, doesn't fall to it, wheels away from Panozzo. The ball goes forward for North Adelaide, not for long. It clean bowls Hardwick. Glenelg have the numbers. They're playing with terrific confidence at the moment. Morris gives the ball towards Parker. He chips the ball towards Andrews. And the Tigers really are oozing confidence, Stephen Williams.
They are. They're playing smart footy. They're just holding on to the ball, not kicking to a contest. North have got a lot of players back, and they'll have to pick up and make the Bays kick to a contest if they want to win this ball back.
Message from Andrew Jarman is then find a man?
Probably, yeah. He's got the... I think he's got the better players to kick to up forward, so I can't understand why they just don't pick up and win the ball, then get it in there long and quick.
Valuable seconds ticking by. 12 points the difference in this last quarter we've gone. Let's check the clock. 11 minutes. And Glenelg lead. They have the ball through the agency of number 24. That's their skipper, Ben Moore, but he's content to see it over the line for a throw-in.
Hargraves has been well held. Manfield, Sherwood, they've done well on Hargraves.
They have. Their forward line looks dangerous, doesn't it? They've got Hudson up there, they've got Hargrave, they've got Perry, so there's some real marking options, but they're just mucking around with the ball and not getting in quickly to give those guys a chance.
Moore's kick for Glenelg. A pensive gathering here at Prospect up towards the centre wing position. Strong tackle there laid by Panozzo, and there'll be another bounce. At the 11-minute mark of this final term, Glenelg 11-5-71, North Adelaide 8-11-59.
Andrew Smith, you've got a full-time score, have you?
I have, thanks to the Beast, yes, Rog. A full-time Pandana, 22-7, have defeated Dudley United 6-6. Bit of an upset there.
Huge result.
Celebrations.
They'll be jumping and hopping everywhere on Skippy land over there, Roger Wells.
And Glenelg look as though they'll pick up their third win of the season this so far, as the ball goes over the line just at half-forward for Glenelg, and the player gets up. Woods says, why wasn't that in the back against Southern and North Adelaide, and looked to be right in the back.
Well, they had a real opportunity there. Just a poor kick from Backwell. He had Woods all on his own. He just had to get the ball to him, and he was away into the 50.
Jeffries free at half-back. Good work from Uni as the young girl stomps on the television scaffold here. She's excited. Can North Adelaide pick up a goal? The mark has been taken by Sherwood and goes against Huskers, 25 metres, as he hammered away at his opponent, and Sherwood, experience one, just walks the ball up to the point of the square. Glenelg 11-5-71, North Adelaide 8-11-59, 12 points in favour of the Tigers. More rushes one way. Glenelg in control, playing it cool, lead by 12 points. We've played 12 minutes in the final term. Peter Walsh.
Sherwood kicks in towards the forward pocket. And, almost a mark taken off hands. It'll be Culpet there who has it close to the boundary line. It's over. Well, he was. And the ball was too. And I've worked out the lighting here, Roger. It's a lot darker, of course, in the grandstand. So outside the grandstand, it's not too bad. So could we move all of our petitions down for the last 10 minutes of the game, please? Thanks, Spence. From the throw-in, Glenelg by 2 goals. In attack, chance for Moore. He's so quick. Off the boot. He misses the lot. But, gee, he's been good. And I'm glad they didn't pull him up for that extra meterage he covered in that third quarter. That's what you love to see at a footy game. Someone take on the opposition. That kick was out of bounds. Score check, 11-5-71 Glenelg. North Adelaide, 8-11-59. 13 minutes gone.
And Moore's had lots of it this quarter. He's had 5 possessions this quarter.
Big stat for the skipper. Roger Wills.
And Moore spent time in Richmond, I think, Stephen Williams.
He did, yeah. He was a Tiger for
homework. You would know straight away.
For a number of years.
Jeffries. He runs through half-back. Now's the chance for North Adelaide. The long ball ends up with Wintles. He races through the centre square, straight down the ground. Anyone at home spills away from Hargraves. Uso, the supporters. Ball taken by Morris. Hands and knees stuff was gutsy stuff. Spills over towards Backwell. Another possession. Good shepherd from Glenelg. And a long ball from Backwell. Glenelg have got the numbers. Knocked away by Wintles. Spills over towards Culpet, who's been brilliant. Ball on the centre wing. Crash goes the tackle. Where is it? Jeffries has it for North Adelaide. Under pressure, though. High ball. Back go the Glenelg players. Hammer the ball onto the line. In goes Moore. Spills over towards Uni. Brilliant smother. That would be Sherwood. Had to be Sherwood. Over towards Duldig. He's free. Wing half forward. A long ball inside 50. Glenelg. North seem to have the numbers. Onto the ground it goes. Comes back to Huskers. 50-metre line. Half back. North are under enormous pressure. They're trying to create. It's back with Wintle, and here comes Evans.
He'll kick wide. wide towards the centre wing. Out there is Bamfield. He'll take the Bamford. He'll take the mark and go. 2 goals the difference. Glenelg lead. 1 bounce to Bamford. He can take another one if he wants to. He does. He gets to 60. Bamford unloads to the square. They run back and the ball is kicked poorly. Misses the lot and bounces over the line, and spare a thought for a man who feels pretty ordinary now, Daniel Hargraves, who dropped that chest mark.
Yeah, there's a real opportunity there. Bamford certainly wastes that ball, and Hargraves just doesn't look right. If I was Andrew Jarman, I'd replace him because he's really struggling up there.
Almost 15 minutes gone, final term. Glenelg by 2 goals. Hudson to do the boundary throwing. Oh, it clears the pack. Whittle picks it up, snaps in towards full forward. They push and they shove in the pocket, and it's shoveled over the line or through for a behind. It's a behind. So North Adelaide now with that 1 flag result, their 3rd minor score of the final term, moved to 8-12-60. Glenelg just the 1 goal, so we've only had the 1 goal kick so far. They're 11-5-71. 11 points the difference. We've gone 15 minutes in the final quarter. Here's Roger Wills for ABC Local Radio tonight. It's Sydney versus Collingwood.
Play on the other side with Glenelg right on the boundary line, and the ball chipped outside 50, and a mark taken there by, is that Culpet over there? Culpet has the ball. He's worked so hard. He and Backwell and Moore. He swings the ball. He balks the opponent. Has a bounce. That's confidence. Runs across the ground at centre half back. Has a look and kicks the ball to a North Adelaide player, and Hudson, who couldn't believe it, he crashes into the opponent. Now they're mucking around North Adelaide. Bamford has the ball. He spears the ball in towards Ebert, bobbing and weaving around, slides the ball towards Rowe. 55 minutes out. It's a shocker kick. He blazed away. In goes a grateful defender. That'll be a free kick to Miller. It had to be held. We're not in possession. The ball's at centre half forward. My ball, says the umpire. That's for the Roosters. They're down by 11 points. Glenelg 11-5-71, North 8-12-60.
Just that one possession too much, North Adelaide. They seem to be clear and then looking to overuse the ball, whereas that quick kick into their forward line with those tall marking options, give them the opportunity. Get it there quick.
Culpet, gang tackled. Wintle's in there for North Adelaide. Tries to knock the ball out. He's still hungry for it. He's got it now. It's hugged into his chest, and surely there'll be a bounce. And, you know, you make these statements as a broadcaster and they come back to bite you, but you just feel, even though Glenelg have hung on for so long, that a couple of quick kicks could steal this game for North Adelaide, who you've got to admire the pluckiness of the Glenelg team. They are defending grandly at the moment. The hand pass comes to a real spirited performer in Moore. A tired kick, but an effective kick towards centre wing. Hudson takes the mark for North Adelaide. Hand pass goes wide of the pack. Here's a chance there for Jeffries. Jeffries kicks the ball in towards centre half forward. Oh, the spoil over the top there from Hardwick. Was anyone there to gather? It's knocked towards the safety of the boundary line. It could be deliberate. The crowd called for it. They all looked at the umpire. Not to be. Tristan Gum turned around to look, but there'll be a throw in, and Hardwick going the spoil there, which could have had disastrous consequences. Not the case. 11 points. Glenelg lead in this final term. We've gone 17 minutes.
Wintle, rather, Wakeland palms the ball down towards Juni, goes for home. It's a big kick up towards the goals. It's home, no, touched on the line.
Good work, Paul Sherwood, just getting a hand to that ball as it crossed the line, and as that was happening, Daniel Hargraves taken off the ground, Brett White replacing him.
So 10 points to lead Glenelg over North Adelaide around the grounds in the final term. We played 17 minutes of prospect.
18 minutes into the final at Elizabeth. Central's by 22 points. Central's 13-10, 88. Port 10-6, 66. And at Richmond, South by 18. South Adelaide 14-15, 99. West Adelaide 13-3, 81.
Kick in from Glenelg towards the outer side, roving the Packers. Backwell on the 50-metre line, chips the ball off the left boot towards the outer side. Ball taken by Panozza. Kicked a couple of goals, keeps it moving on the outer side. The running coming from Manfield, pursued by Perry, who's come down the ground. Glenelg have possession. They're on the wing on the outer side. Play on, says the umpire. Hand pass goes forward. Ball knocked towards the boundary line, escorted by Panozzo. Chance to give you the score. Glenelg 11-5-71. North Adelaide 8-13-61. Won't be a long term. We haven't had many goals, Walsh, have we?
You stole my thunder, Rog. Just the one in this final quarter, kicked by Glenelg. From the boundary throw in, tight in the crunches. Wintle's there, missed it. Away from the pack, the hand pass comes wide towards the man with the bicycle helmet on, Ivans. He knocks it towards the half-back line, and now some space for the North Adelaide runners. They get it at centre wing. The kick down the ground is taken by Gum in towards half forward. A mark! The switch was made, and the mark is taken up at half forward there by Daniel Wakeland for North Adelaide, 40 metres out. And on a slight angle, Wakeland coming out grandly and taking the mark.
It was a good effort, but I've seen Daniel Wakeland kick, and it's not pretty. So hopefully from a North Adelaide point of view, we can put this through, and we've got a real game on our hands in this last 5 minutes.
19 minutes gone. Wakeland. The margin is 10 points. To shoot for goal for North Adelaide from 40 in front, directly in front. Wakeland wobbles it forward, and much to the disappointment of the very parochial crowd, it's the 5th behind in this final term for North Adelaide, who creep up now to 8:14.62. Glenelg 11:5.71. We're 30 seconds away from the 20-minute mark of this final quarter in a thriller here. Round 13 in the SANFL on ABC Local Radio. Roger Wills.
And we need the miners' lamp and the Heritage Grandstand here as the kick in to be taken by Glenelg. 19 minutes gone, final term, a long ball outside 50. Can anyone take a mark? The ball onto the ground, swooping Ismore, little hand pass to Bonozzo, weaves back, took his time and had a look and moved the ball towards the outer side. They fly, ball onto the ground, chance for Glenelg. They're lining up, keep the ball in front of you, work the ball onto the ground, tie up, support one another, and good football, and they work the ball towards the wing on the outer side, and Glenelg lead by 9 points. We've played 20 minutes in the final term. Grandstand football on 891 ABC South Australia and Broken Hill.
And we'll have an interview with the player from the winning team, Spence Denny, about to go down to the boundary line, and the winning team, oh, I don't know, you wouldn't hazard a guess. It's 9 points the difference. The ball at centre wing, outer side, 9 points the difference. 20 minutes gone, final term. The kick now by Ivans in towards the half-forward line, clears the pack. Is there a free kick? No. Perry couldn't take the mark. It's over the boundary line for another throw-in. Some frustration from the North Adelaide supporters who would love their team to get up on this Heritage Day here at the Prospect Oval. Hudson to contest with Andrews, who's on again for Glenelg. Andrews got the touch. Good clearance by Culbert for Glenelg. Back towards centre wing. It bounces. The man Mountain comes out. That's Dulgig. Couldn't quite get it. Knocked across towards centre wing. Ebert's there for North Adelaide. He's wrapped up in a tackle by Panozzo. Thrown to the ground. And the umpire has nothing better to do, or no further decision than to come in and call forward at the 21-minute mark of the term. Glenelg by 9 points.
It's a desperate times now. Mistakes are really magnified, and the Bays are just holding the ball in, and these little ball-ups just chew up time on the clock. So they'd be very content just to have tight, congested play for the last 3 or 4 minutes of this game.
1 goal to Glenelg, 5 behinds to North Adelaide. Play-ons is the umpire on the outer side. Jeffries a diving hand pass towards Bamford. Bamford tumbles the ball forward over towards Brett White, drops the ball. Play-ons is the umpire. Glenelg seem to have the numbers to stymie North Adelaide. It's on the wing. The Glenelg players bore in. North want to get the ball free. It's still on the wing. Boundary line closing. Backward. Brilliant half pass to Culbert. They shovel the ball forward. Glenelg hammered forward by a Cook. Ball onto the ground. Smothering tackle. Play-on says the umpire. My ball on the outer side. Clever, logical tactics by Glenelg. They lead by 9 points, and the beauty of it all in the Heritage game, you can't know how long to go, Stephen.
It's true, and Heath Culbert, I would say he's had at least 8 or 9 possessions this quarter. He's been fantastic, and him along with Backwell.
Could be a last gasp for North Adelaide. Out of the middle, kick towards half-forward, cut off brilliantly in defence by Mansfield. Mansfield didn't hold the mark. In there working hard is Motlop up forward with Fuscus. It comes clear. Perry goes the hand pass. Shot across towards half-forward. Whittle's there. Whittle takes the ball over the shoulder. Free kick Glenelg. At centre half back. Free kick to Glenelg, and you would just about have to think now the time's going to beat North Adelaide. 22.5 minutes gone. And the Tigers with the ball in the last line of defence. And the kick to be taken by Morris in the gloom. He's got no way known is he going to hurry. He'll take all the time in the world. And in defence, Glenelg leading by 9 points. The kick around towards the half-back line, but it's marked out there by Perry, who'd better hurry. Perry, hurry. 8:14.62 to 11:5.71. Glenelg by 9 points, and the Tigers are hanging on. 23 minutes gone, and Perry, you'd better hurry.
And Perry on the wing on the outer side. A long ball inside 50. Can Wakeland take a mark? Good chevening by Miller. And Parker takes the ball. Now, he was with South Adelaide.
He was. Aidan Parker traded to Glenelg and having an influence on the game in this last quarter. But Ian Perry should have certainly got that ball in quicker. And also, Ben Hudson was a player I'd be kicking the ball to.
23 minutes gone, final term, and the supporters on the respective sides on the outer, they're biting their fingernails. It's wonderful to watch them through the binoculars. The kick off the ground by Glenelg, back into the centre square. The ball favours young Andrews, smothered by Ivans with sensational soccer through the mud by Andrews for Glenelg. Up forward, the ball scooped up, and a hand pass goes forward. It's over to McIntyre. McIntyre links with his teammate, and Doldig slams the ball through for a goal. Brilliant goal by Glenelg. They'll win the match. They lead by 15 points, and they are jubilant. Their supporters down in front of the grandstand suddenly come alive. They've been hoping all day this would be their third win. Stephen Williams, what a goal to cap a performance. That was terrific footy in the conditions.
It was fast break footy, wasn't it? The ball was probably on the half-forward line of North Adelaide for the last 10 minutes, but just some great play by Glenelg to quickly get the ball into their forward line. It was nice and open. They were able to get players running through the contest. And Matthew Doldick, 3 goals, I think, today from him, and he's been a real great contributor.
We've gone in this final term 24 minutes, but we've only had the 2 goals scored, both to Glenelg, and you'd think their lead of 15 points is enough. Is there another chapter to be written? Out of the middle, the ball rushed forward there by Jeffries. Jeffries holding onto the ball now, kicks it wide towards the half-forward line. Over the back of the pack, it's knocked towards a key defender, Parker, for the Glenelg team, who takes it towards the line and knocks it over. And there'll be a boundary throw in at the 24.5-minute mark of this final term.
Walshy, the goal by Woods at the 7-minute mark, and the next goal by Doldick at the 24-minute mark, and the Tigers are grafted a wonderful win.
Oh, well, David Noble will be happy. Spence Denny will speak to, we think, the winning coach, because it does appear as if time now will beat North Adelaide. As Hudson in front now, the ball not clear, and it's kicked by an inspirational Culbert towards the safety of the boundary line. Hasn't he been good all day? Gum tries to pick it up, can't do so for North Adelaide, and it's over for another throw-in. Glenelg, 12-5-77, North Adelaide, 8-14-62. The margin is 15 points, and we've gone over 25 minutes of this final term here at the Prospect Oval.
Boundary thrown on the outer side. A lot of play out there. Wing half forward, knocked away by Andrews. Ball onto the ground. It's shoveled forward by Glenelg. The tacklers, 2 of them for North Adelaide. It's on the ground. Hardwick's there. Cook gets up in the back. Hardwick's just still stirring the pot. The ball with the umpire, but the seconds are soaking away. Glenelg 12-5-77. North Adelaide 8-14-62. Glenn Elliott said, how will the Roosters go starting favourites? Well, they look like they're going to lose this match, and the ball tumbles onto the ground on the outer side. As Stephen Williams looks through the gloom at his best players. It won't be long. We're going at 5 o'clock to the Olympic Stadium. AFL footy. It's Sydney playing Collingwood.
We're going to hear the siren very shortly, you would expect. Ball tossed in the air. Hand pass comes wide of the pack for Wintle for North Adelaide. He knocks it away. They're so desperate, Glenelg, they're knocking into each other. As it's the Cook in there, who tries to shovel it forward. Well done there by Andrews, but it comes wide to Hudson. Hudson for North Adelaide got rid of it quickly. The ball's tossed across towards the almost BOG Culpert. He's kicking towards the half-forward line, bounces loose. In defence, Huskis runs hard at the contest. He's tackled, holding the ball. Free kick, Glenelg. Free kick, Glenelg at half-forward, and it goes to the man mounting up at half-forward in Doldick, who's kicked 3 goals. And at the 26.5-minute mark of this final quarter, he's in no hurry. Glenelg have beaten North Adelaide. Doldick's not even going to have a shot for goal. Yes, he is. He's going to go the big spiral. And he's given that a fair roost, which is a totally inappropriate expression to use when the Roosters have been nutted. But Glenelg have had a win. They have kept North Adelaide scoreless in the final term and have won 12-5-77 to North Adelaide, 8-14-62 by a margin of 15 points. Now standing by